I just wake up in the morning and I yell a lot, even though it's way too early. It's fun though. Wake up, wake up, wake up! That's right. Wake up, wake up, wake up. It is I. That's right. It is I, John Greaves III. Welcome to another action-packed episode. Another cool and fun episode of Up Way Too Early with Garage Gym Life. I am feeling good. Feeling energized. So last week was our 52nd episode, so basically a year, because the show airs weekly. And I'm excited for what's going to come in 2025 for the show. If this is your first time getting Up Way Too Early with Garage Gym Life, appreciate you checking us out and giving us a chance. This show is basically a show for you to talk about fitness-related home gym content, and we get your live reactions to the topics that come up. So we encourage you to jump in the live chat. If nothing else, just say, hey, say hello. Let us know where you're watching from, because this show is at its best when you guys chime in, whether you are watching on YouTube or if you are watching on normally we're watching on Facebook, but right now Facebook isn't playing nice. So if you're watching on YouTube, welcome. Thank you for being here. And if this is your first time checking out the show, I promise you are in for a good time. I do have a request, and that is to help me out by clicking that like button while you're thinking about it. I know a lot of you guys like to watch the show while you're working out. You have it up on the TV in your home gym or something like that. And so you're not really thinking about clicking the live button, but just take a second, hit the like button, and then once you click that like button, that starts the YouTube algorithm working to get more people to come and tune in. And that's what we want. We want to make this community. This is not just a show, it's a community. We want to make this community grow. And then after you've watched for a little bit, if this is something that you decide that you're into, go ahead and hit the subscribe button to help us reach our goal of 50,000 subscribers. We are very, very close, and that is all thanks to you guys. Okay, that's enough of that. Let me go ahead and tell you what's on today's show. So in the first hour, we're going to have news and other things. Plus, we'll have a brand new recliner of rage. I'll tell you guys why I am mad this week. And in the second hour, which would be 7 a.m. Eastern time, our guy Cody Lutz from Backyard Shredz is going to be coming back. He's going to be giving us some tips on winterizing a shed gym. Now, I realize that winter has already arrived for a lot of you guys, but these tips are going to still be useful for you. Get my phone out of my pocket. These tips are still going to be useful for you. So make sure that you are here. And if you know somebody who's got a shed gym, make sure you tell them, hey, go ahead, shoot them a text or something real quick. Let them know, hey, you need to tune in 7 a.m. Eastern time today, because the expert, Cody from Backyard Shredz, he helps people build shed gyms, and he's here to answer any questions related to having a shed or barn or any other building that's adjacent on your property where you train. In the third hour, that's when we're going to do react and respond. We're going to look at stuff on the internet together, and we'll respond to it, talk about what we think of it, and things like that. All right, so now that you know what's going on, once again, please smash the like button, hit subscribe if you haven't done so, and let's go ahead and say what's up to everybody who is here in the live chat. Let's go to the comment section. All right, so let's see, my guy Jared. Oh, no, Carlos was first. Carlos said, is it way too early for a comment? Says, wake up. Hey, man, as I told Carlos, it is never too early for a comment. So you guys go ahead and start dropping your comments in there. Don't be, I don't want any ghosts. All right. I'm guilty of lurking when I watch certain shows as well, but I don't want you to do that today. I want you to go ahead and drop a comment. Like I said, no pressure. Just let us know where you're watching from. All right. Next up, my guy Jared Martin. What's up, Jared? My guy Jared from beautiful Louisville, Kentucky, the site of this year's HomeGymCon. So we're going to descend on your city, Jared. Just go ahead and brace yourself now. It's got the coffee cup, and that actually I feel like Jared's been looking at my show notes, because that coffee is a topic that we're going to discuss later on. Then we got Dr. Michael Brantley. What's up, man? He's one of the so Jared's probably working out in his basement gym, and Michael Brantley is also working out in his gym. That's how he watches the show. Appreciate you. Go ahead and let me know that you out there and you alive. What's up, man? It's a pleasure seeing all you guys. All right, so that is, now that you guys know what's going on, we've called roll. Let's go ahead and dive into the news of the day. We're going to go ahead and jump into news and other things. All right. So, news and other things. This is basically, we talk about news that relates to the home gym community, and you guys react to it with me. Also, I will say this too. If you guys are aware of something that's going on in the home gym community that's of interest to the home gym community, I don't see everything. So some of the stuff that we talk about during this segment actually comes to me because you guys shoot me a DM. So you guys go ahead and you can, first of all, make sure that you're following Garage Gym Life on Instagram. And then second, so that's the first thing. All right, you want to follow Garage Gym Life on Instagram. And then you can shoot me a DM if you are aware of like a news item, Instagram post that you think might be interesting for us to discuss during the show. So the first thing is Bells of Steel is taking a victory lap. Okay, so the thing, and when I say they're taking a victory lap, I mean it. All right. Let me tell you. So I got an email in my inbox, and let me see if I can pull this up here. Oh no, that's not it. That's them telling me about protein pancakes. There we go. Yeah. All right. So I got the email. Some of you guys may have gotten this same email if you are subscribed to the Bells of Steel newsletter like I am, which I highly recommend. But in the email, which I got, let's see, what day was it? I got it on January 30th. All right. And it said, and it's from Kayvon, who's the head of Bells of Steel. He's the founder and president. He's actually been on the show multiple times. And he said, he said a couple of things that a couple of things that surprised me. So he said, looking at 2024 in review, Bells of Steel grew 30% again. So this is the second time experiencing 30% growth as a company. And he said that they had the most successful Black Friday ever, even including the days of the pandemic. Remember when everybody was buying home gym equipment because they were like, panicking, right? And he said, even if you include the data from the pandemic, 2024 was their most successful Black Friday ever. That's incredible. Just think about how much stuff people were buying when when lockdown hit and all the public gyms closed, and all of a sudden, basically the same people that told you that you were wasting your time training in a home gym, all of a sudden started calling you, asking you for advice about buying equipment. People started making stuff out of concrete and all kinds of other stuff happened. Okay, well, so companies were running out of equipment. They couldn't keep it in stock. Then next thing you know, there was a steel shortage because everybody was making weights and all that. So that's amazing to me. And as Jared says, and they're a cool company, not just because, they're one of the companies we have an affiliate link with. And, so obviously I have a vested interest in their success, but also because they legitimately are a cool company. If you look at how they operate on the internet, across social media, and how accessible they are, I just like when good things happen for people who, to me, are doing things the right way. And so as Jared says, wow, good for them. Jared says, I think they have so many more products today versus 2020. And I would say, yeah, but also you got to think that there's a balancing act between constantly getting new products, which is what would attract someone who's already an existing Bells of Steel customer. So that's part of customer retention. You find your existing customers, see what else they want from you, and then you try to meet that need. But also in terms of steadily putting stuff out to it that new customers might need, right? So for example, there's still a need for Hydra and Manicure power racks, right? There's still a need for the Bells of Steel residential power rack. And if you focus everything on, I don't know, well, like the Blitz air bike, then you're leaving out the people who still need power racks. So I think that they're striking a nice, delicate balance between retaining the existing customers and also continuing to stick with their foundational stuff so that they can continue to attract new customers who may have never purchased anything from them. So I like that. So he said, some of that stuff I've forgotten. They launched a new website. I've forgotten all about that, right? They launched a new website, and he said this on their side of things. This is the first year that they have not crashed during a big sale. So think about it in the years in previous years. If Bells and Steel was having a big sale, you go on the website, sometimes the website will crash. And that's frustrating. That's gonna be frustrating to anybody who's trying to purchase something for their home gym. It's like, I'm trying to get stuff, the website's not working. So they've made, and in fact, to me, that's another thing that indicates that they're listening to customers, because they hear people say, hey, the website keeps crashing and it's annoying me. They go ahead, they respond, they build a new website, all right, to make the new shopping experience better. And then this goes back to something that I mentioned. Remember when I was saying that, the a few minutes ago, that the thing I like about them the most is how accessible they are on social media, especially, right? So they said that their most viral social post was they did a Reddit AMA on in the Our Home Gym, right? And if you guys are not members of Our Home Gym, definitely go ahead and jump in there. It is not, I don't typically advise people to go join the Home Gym Discord. I'm not saying don't do it. I just don't normally like make a point of telling people to join the Home Gym Discord if there's a difference, right? Like, I don't mind if you join it. It's just not something that immediately jumps into my mind to occur to advise people to join. But I do often advise people to join Our Home Gym because so many questions have been answered in the different threads in there. A lot of questions that people have, and Reddit is doing stuff to make it more searchable now. I'm not sure how I feel about the fact that they're using AI with their to help with Reddit searches, but whatever. It is the way it is. Nevertheless, Our Home Gym is a place that if you're a home gym owner, you should be a part of to some degree, right? And one of the things they do is ask me anything with different brands and creators. And so like I've done 2 AMAs for Our Home Gym, and Mark from Flex Marks the Spot just did one. But then, like I said, brands do it too. And so Bells of Steel, Kayvon did one, and he had over 367,000 viewers and participants. It was one of the most successful in the Our Home Gym subreddit. So that's just amazing, right? And it's more, what I like about it is it's kind of like when I bring people on here, but because they're available all day long, there's not so much of a time crunch for being able to get answers from them in real time. All right. And then, of course, they launched, per Jared's point, they launched a bunch of major products. They launched the Dreadmill. Actually, they launched the Dreadmill, and then they also, I'm not sure if they've already got version 2 out, but they started working on version 2. They've got the Blitz Max air bike. We actually have the Blitz indoor spin bike. I guess spin is copyrighted. It's trademarked. Well, we've got the Blitz indoor cycle, okay, downstairs. So that's another one. So I see that Michael Brantley said he's looking into the Blitz bike, but he said I need to find the space. Which one are you looking at? Are you looking at the air one that looks like that one that wrestlers used to torture themselves with in high school? Or are you looking at more of the indoor bike that's like a kind of like a spinning bike? Curious to see which one has got your interest, Michael. My guy Matthew Porter, he's familiar with Bells of Steel, makes a lot of stuff that goes with their ecosystem over there at porterphys.com. And let's see here. And he says actually he was chatting with Kayvon yesterday, and more cool stuff is coming from them. I do not doubt that, man. Like I said, they're taking a victory lap because this is the byproduct of the fact that they have they spent 2020. I would say that they put out a lot of stuff in 2020. They were putting stuff out in 2023, and then there was a lot of buzz. So you had, remember, people were talking about, hey, where's the Kraken? where's the, they have the Smith machine attachment. People were asking them like, hey, where's this? Why don't you guys have this? Why don't you have this? And they said, and in the email, it said that they found that their main takeaway this year in 2024 was the value in slowing down to move faster. So they felt the pressure to get new innovations to market to meet the demand. I'm reading from the email right now. He said, I know the wait for the Kraken and the Smith machine was rough, but their launches were the most well-organized and thought out ever, with intentional assembly manuals, photography, and behind-the-scenes work. So basically, you're getting these products in, and there's a YouTube video that shows you how to assemble it, just for example, which is not always the case when there's such this big rush to just get the product out. So for me, that is something that cannot be overstated. That they're listening to customers, so they're not ignoring you when they don't bring something out right away. But I like that it shows that they're being thoughtful about how they're bringing the product out, because they want it to last. They don't want to like ready, fire, aim. So yeah. And Jared says the Blitz Max looks legit. You can change the resistance on it. Carp actually has the Air Bike Max, and he said that it's really nice. Michael Brantley, he said, oh, the indoor. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's the one that we have. So I will tell you that review should be coming out on Tuesday from us. So if you have any last minute questions, things you want to know about the Blitz indoor bike, you can put a comment on this. You can put it in the live chat. You can put a comment if you're watching on replay. You can put a comment in the comments. Just let us know somehow what you specifically want to know, because we're going to be shooting. That's one of the videos that we are shooting this weekend. Okay, so go ahead and let me know that. Eric, hey, by the way, Eric Echoes says good morning, gentlemen. Eric, I saw your DM on Instagram, and when you were talking about categories, I know I'm familiar with those, but what I'm talking about is when you upload a video, that isn't an option. I wish it was, but it's not. But I just want to let you know that I did see your DM. I just had a bunch of stuff. I was juggling a bunch of stuff all at once. All right. And Michael said the spin type. Okay. All right. So anyway, they said that they're going to be carrying these lessons forward in 2025. So to just wrap it up, he said that they are working on launching in Europe. So that's good news from my guy, Matt, from the UK. And they're starting the legwork on launching in Australia. That's crazy. I'm wondering if they're going to work with a company like Sam's Fitness in Australia. That's an established distributor, or if they're just going to do everything themselves. So that's something that I'm curious to find out. I'd love to find out more about that. Then the other thing is they mentioned some specific stuff that they're bringing out. So they said we're working on launching a leg extension machine and 3x3 cable machines that work with the Hydra and Manicore ecosystems. For example, the cable stack that we have, the single stack cable tower, I know that they are working on a 3x3 version of that, because that's currently a 2x3, which is, that's okay. But I'm glad that they're working on a 3x3 version of it. So there is that. All right. So that's the first news item. And you guys continue to let me know. Oh, we do have asking you shall receive. So Carp said the Manicore had like a 2 to 3 delay, but it's cool. They still got it out, and they're starting to come out a 2 to 3 year delay. It's cool. They still got it out, and they're starting to come out with more attachments for it. They need a 3x3. They needed a 3x3 power rack line. I 100% agree. I figure you. I remember your situation right when I was reading. I said, oh yeah, I need to fill in the blanks for Carp. So yeah, man. I mean, sure, you had to wait 2 to 3 years for it, but it came out, and I think it's a better product because they waited and took the time to get it right. One thing that I will say is, that's not really comforting to somebody who is like, hey, but I need a power rack now, right? Okay, that's why I say don't get married to a power rack right away. And in fact, I was talking, without revealing the whole conversation, I was talking to somebody and I was advising them to try Body Solid. I said, look, this is going to be, you're pretty new to the home gym game. And yes, I could send you to Bells of Steel and tell you to just go get a Bells of Steel, this or that, right? But, and of course, I got an affiliate link. It would benefit me financially. But I was like, you don't really know what you want yet. You think you do, but you don't. You know what I'm saying? Bells of Steel has several different kinds of power racks. So I'd rather you spend a little bit of money to be able to put your hands on stuff first, see what you like, and then you can then go to the Bells of Steel or wherever you choose to shop. Now you can go on their website and you can shop intelligently. So most of you guys who are in the chat right now, who I've seen chime in the chat, you guys are experienced home gym owners. And so if you go to Bells of Steel website, you know what you're looking for. Somebody who's just now getting into it, you really don't know what you're looking for. You hear stuff being thrown out, like terms thrown about, UHMW, all this kind of different stuff, aluminum pulleys, and like you don't really know what that really means. And so for me, it's like a company like Body Solid has value because they work with local distributors. And so I send people to the Body Solid website all the time. Say, hey, go there, find out where they have a local distributor near you, drive over there, and then just spend, 30 minutes to an hour looking at whatever they have there that's a Body Solid power rack. And ask questions. Then, you can buy it if you want, or if you decide you don't want to get that, that's fine. A lot of times those distributors will even install the thing for you, right? And then after you've had time to kind of figure out what it is you like, nail down your training style, your goals a little bit, then you're in a good position to be able to take advantage of products from companies like Rep Fitness and Bells of Steel, because you know what you're looking for and you know what you need, right? Because if I take somebody who is just now getting the home gym ownership and I say, oh yeah, go to Bells of Steel, right? And the first thing they're going to say when they get there is there's a bunch of stuff. They're going to be like, well, what's the difference between the Hydra? Do I need a Hydra? Do I need a Manicure? I get these questions. Do I want a Hydra? Do I don't want a Manicure? Do I want, what's this cracking business? Do I want a Smith machine? Do I want a Smith machine attachment? And I'm like, you don't even know what you want yet. You got money burning a hole in your pocket. This is a big investment. You guys think about it. The high quality power racks cost as much as a used car. That's a lot of money to spend on something that you really don't know anything about. Okay. So I'm always like, hey, slow down. And so if somebody's in that sort of situation, delays like the 2-year delay for the Manicure don't affect you as much, because you could have something inexpensive but safe that you're using in the meantime while you wait for what you really want to come out. All right. So Carp said, considering adding their lat pull down on a Rogue rack, they said they should fit if I swap out one of the rear cross members. So Jared has actually said, like, Bells of Steel, they designed their racks and attachments to be pretty interchangeable. Yeah. Yeah. So this is something that so Jared's chiming in. He said, the dude who bought my bench recently just has that bench and adjustable dumbbells. I said he has to come to HomeGymCon to put hands on everything. He said he could be patient and wait. Eric says what they need to do is come to HomeGymCon and figure stuff out. So yes, I agree, and I'm a 100% in favor of people going to HomeGymCon. Here's the thing, man, and this is not shade, okay? But you guys need to put yourselves in the shoes of someone who is new to our community. Remember how introverted a lot of us are. And when you tell somebody, hey, you need to go to HomeGymCon, even people who watch this show, they think that it's some astronomical cost, right? And they're like, I don't see the point of flying all the way over there, having to spend money on a hotel. They just don't want to do it because they don't see the value. So while I do agree that people need to go to HomeGymCon, I will also say I'm a realist. And I say that the next best thing is to find a local distributor that you can visit That's why I'm a big fan of when companies have local showrooms that you can go into. So when Rep Fitness has their showrooms, you can go to the Rep Fitness showroom. We'll talk about American Barbell. They're adding a showroom. RitFit is opening a showroom in California. Trying to think who else. So obviously Belza still has their Indiana store. That's a showroom. They've got a store in they got stores in Canada. It's a showroom. I like that. But let's say you don't, you know, check out a website like Body Solid. I get paid absolutely nothing for sending you to Body Solid. So if I keep on bringing it up, that means I think it's important. Go to bodysolid.com. They've got a dealer locator. Go to the dealer that's closest to you. Just go there and just try the stuff out. You don't even have to buy anything. Just go there and try it out and see if you like it. For example, what happens if you go and you think, oh, this is perfect. Then you get there, you're like, oh, this power rack is too short. Well, wouldn't you rather know that before it gets to your house? I mean, I know I would. So there's that. All right. And Carp agrees. Yeah, I told someone the other day, some of these new racks are more expensive than my first 2 cars. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a lot of money. So I'm like, hey, slow down, pump your brakes a little bit, and make sure that when you make the purchase, it's not a purchase that you are going to regret. All right. So that is the first item. But let me ask you this before we move on. Are you guys, this is my question, are you guys surprised by how much Bells of Steel has grown? I mean, I know that we're fans of them. I know that, we're obviously fans of the brand, but what I want to know is, are you guys surprised by how much Bells of Steel has grown? Because 30% is nothing to sneeze at. Is this something that, I don't think anybody could have just predicted that level of growth. So does that surprise you? Also, some of the products that I mentioned that were successful, what do you think it says about the home gym industry that those products were their most successful products? And the final question I have for you guys is, and please put the answers in the live chat. If you're watching on replay, put your answers in the comment section. If you're listening on Podbean, come here to YouTube and put your answers in the chat. No fake, Jonathan, you were here just in time. Are you surprised? This is a question I definitely want to get your feedback on, Jonathan, while you have time. Are you surprised by how much Bells of Steel has grown, and how important is the accessibility of Bells of Steel across social media when you're deciding whether or not to make a purchase from them? What are people who watch your channel saying? And then I want to hear from you guys in the chat. What do you guys think? Like, how important are those things to you? Because for me, it's important because I like to be able to get in touch with a company when I need to get in touch with them and ask them a question. I'm trying to decide if I should say this. All right. So heavily redacted statement coming up. There is a brand that we worked with in the past, and they're very difficult to get in touch with. Okay. And it makes me hesitate to tell anybody else to try their stuff, because if I can't get in touch with them, I don't know if you'll be able to get in touch with them if there's a problem. Okay. So it makes me want to not even have their stuff in my home gym, because customer service is more important to me than having cool toys in here. All right. And that's probably where I should stop and leave that alone. But it's just one of the things that's on my mind. So let's see here. Jared says, yes, I'm surprised to hear that level of growth. I think a company responding to questions and concerns is a big determining factor for purchase comfort. I agree 100%. 100%. Carp says, it really seems like Kayvon seems to have timely releases. When the Smith machine gets popular, he has a Smith machine coming out when the collateral attachment gets really, when the side lateral attachment gets really popular. I agree. But a lot of that is because Kayvon's here in these social media streets. Like, he's actually going in Reddit, answering questions. He's not like sending some bot to go and just build up his presence, right? He's actually checking stuff out, answering people's questions, responding when people have issues. If you call the phone number, the Bells of Steel phone number. Andrew, who was on the show, he answers the phone, and he's answering your questions. So, like I said, they're just super responsive. Jonathan says, love Bells of Steel, and I think their owner is a great ambassador for the community. I do think they dropped the ball in a few areas that seem like low-hanging fruit. Well, now you can't tease us, man. Now you got to put out a video that talks about that. All right. So put out a video and I want to see, like, specifically some of the things. I don't want to hear about cable towers falling over. Okay. I don't want to hear that. I don't talk about that anymore. Okay. They tell you to bolt it down. And if you don't want to bolt it down, it falls over on you. Hey, oh well. But I am curious to see, like, what other, if there's multiple, you said things, so that's multiple, it's plural. So I want to know what other areas you think that they could do better at fulfilling the needs of the community. Carp says, it seems like Kayvon has his finger on the pulse. His new items seem to come out when they're hitting the peak in the community. Carp also said, one of the funny things is the top 3 things he gets searched for is a chest expander, which is those old things from the 80s. Be honest with you, man, a chest expander is a legit piece of gear. There's a reason why people keep going back to it. So yeah. So Jonathan said, I mentioned it in my last video, the things. Okay, I'll go check it out when the show's over. I need something to watch while I'm on the treadmill anyway. Bet. All right, that'll work. All right, so now, next news item. It's moving on. And coincidentally, this is the first screen share of the day. That's right, everybody. I know. Calm down. It's time for a screen share. Okay, so here we go. All right, relax. Y'all get. All right, so I saw this. I saw this, and I was just like, this is interesting. So it says MSN.com says if you drink coffee in the morning, you won't die. So I know what you're saying, but you have to drink it. If you guys can see, it says only if you drink it at this time of the day, this specific time of the day. All right. So I'm not going to make you, read the whole thing. And I'm also not going to read the whole thing to you. I'm happy to link it to you guys if you want to read it. But they said for some concrete things, there are indications from studies that coffee could reduce your risk of mouth cancer, and other studies show that it may have some surprising gut and brain benefits. Okay, so yes, there is a reason to drink coffee. Caffeine is not all bad. Okay, I know people like to go on these caffeine detoxes, and there's nothing wrong with that either. But I'm just saying that people who say, "Oh, you shouldn't drink any of it," I don't know about all that. All right. The people, they want you to drink mushrooms instead, right? I'm like, I'm not, I've tried mushroom coffee. I think I'm good with coffee beans, let's stick with coffee beans. All right. As for the people who came up with the idea of drinking coffee, they built great civilizations. I ain't ever heard of anybody building a pyramid while drinking mushroom coffee. So there's that. But so the way that they said it affected longevity is that the researchers found that in comparison to people who don't drink coffee at all, people who drink coffee in the morning were 16% less likely to die of any cause. Did you hear that? 16% less likely to die of any cause. Do you know what any cause means? Anything. So nothing can kill you if you drink coffee, apparently. All right? Not bullets. I mean, I guess if you drink coffee, you're going to be able to dodge bullets like Neo in the Matrix. You may become bulletproof. I don't know. Hey, they even have bulletproof coffee. I never made the connection until this very moment. Bulletproof coffee is out there. All right. Maybe they were serious about that. They might have been serious about that. All right. But it says morning coffee drinkers. I'm going to highlight where 16% less likely to die of any cause and 31% less likely to die of cardiovascular disease. I mean, if that doesn't tell you that you need to drink coffee, I don't know what does. Okay. I will say how this matters to me is shout out to Jared and Carp. Okay. Because they were the ones who got the ball rolling for me to start trying to put out coffee mugs. Right. I just thought this is just something they wanted to do. I didn't realize that they were helping save lives. I didn't know. So everybody, round of applause for Jared and Carp, because these dudes are out here saving lives. All right, right now. These are heroes, okay? I don't care what anybody says. Jared and Carp are heroes, okay? All right, let's see. And here's Jared. He says, get a French press and try the room temperature brew overnight. Supposedly less acid, more caffeine. I have a question. Since we're talking about it's coffee time, we're at Garage Gym Life. Have you tried the bulletproof coffee, like putting the butter in your coffee? I tried that, and also if you just put salt in your coffee, that reduces the acidity level as well. Here we go. So yeah. And Carb said the people that are drinking coffee are getting the job done. They're out here working and not staying still. Well, yeah. Oh, this is awesome. Jared says, patting myself in the back. I had 2 successful no caffeine days this week with no headache on his rest days from lifting. There you go. There you go. Coffee is for closers. Hey, I'm telling you, Carlos, he said, I can dodge bullets. Whoa. Yeah, you heard Neo in your head. Yeah, I'm telling you. It said 16% less likely to die from any reason. Okay? You ain't gonna fall off a building. You 16% like, I'm just throwing it all in there. You're not gonna get bit by a rabid skunk. You're not gonna get shot. Don't matter what part of town you're in. Drink some coffee before you go through a sketchy part of town. Improve your odds. Okay? I'm just telling you. Just do it. All right? If you decide you're gonna bench press and you want to use the suicide grip, drink some coffee first. Keep it. Hey, part of getting older is making good choices to set yourself up for success. Okay? I'm giving you information, but I can't make you drink coffee. I can just tell you what the studies say. This is science. This is science. Okay? There you go. Eric over here living reckless in these streets. He said, I'll gladly die young. I hate coffee so much. Hey, man, it's your life. You do whatever you want with it. Just add me to your insurance. And he said, oh, okay. So Jared says he has tried bulletproof in the past, but not lately. I get plenty of butter and pink Himalayan salt the rest of the day. Okay. Well, I know that you were doing the salt thing on the days when you don't drink caffeine. So I just remember I made the connection because I remember we used to have a morning Bible study, and one of the guys there who's drinking coffee, he would always put salt in his coffee first. And I was like, what are you doing? And he explained it helps with the acidity. So that's pretty cool. Oh, heck yeah. GoRX and Fringe had coffee at their booths at HomeGymCon. No surprise they were popular booths. Oh, of course. Yeah, definitely. All right. So there's that. Let's move on from that. Oh, by the way, we are going to find a coffee sponsor now that I understand the importance and the significance of this. I understand the survival of humanity is riding on this. We are going to go out and put in the time to find a coffee sponsor for the show because, it takes a village. All right. Next item. American Barbell is building a showroom in Vegas. So last week I told you guys that American Barbell is going to be at the Health and Fitness Association trade show this year in March in Vegas. And this week I found out that they're building a showroom in Vegas. Yet another email I got. Let me see if I can pull this thing up here. I don't remember if they had a date for when it's going to happen. So it said, meet the new home of American Barbell. Let's go. Screen share time. Let me show you what I got on my screen. So it says, so I guess this is a mock-up. Let's click on it. What happens if I click it? Oh, okay. It takes us to their website, which does not show the mock-up. All right, so cool. It's a American Barbell, US-based global manufacturer since 1978. And so that's great. But what we are interested in is this. So they got the new home of American Barbell, brand new state-of-the-art showroom in the heart of Las Vegas. So it's going to be a retail space. Going to have all the equipment that you can find on their website. But it's also going to be a first-class, they said, education and performance center and they've also got a podcast that they're gonna bring out. So everybody's got a podcast. So it's gonna be called American Barbell Unleashed. So for those of you who enjoy long form podcasts about training, that's probably another one that you can throw into your feed, your RSS feed, if you guys still talk like that, and so you can check it out. Now, why should you care that American Barbell is building a showroom in Vegas? Okay, so first of all, in my mind, the reasons why it's important is we learned from HomeGymCon that it's a lot easier to convince your significant other to take a weekend trip to go look at home gym equipment if there's something else for them to do. Okay, so nobody was going to go visit French Lick, Indiana to just be there, right? But when they find out that there's a spa, there's horseback riding, there's golf, there's stuff for the kids to do while either daddy or mom or daddy and mom are checking out home gym equipment, that becomes an easier sell. It's going to be in Louisville now. And so there's going to be stuff to do, even more stuff to do. And as a result, I'm going to say it's probably going to be an even easier sell to convince your significant other if you are trying to go to HomeGymCon. And I would say that same thing. American Barbell, you can, if they're going to be in Vegas, you could book a trip to Vegas. Maybe you get married, right? You and your girlfriend book a trip to Vegas, say, hey, we're going to get married. Then you stop at the American Barbell showroom before the honeymoon, okay? That way, y'all can have stuff because y'all going to live somewhere, right? So picture this. You get married. You stop by the showroom on the way to the airport. You pick out what you want for your new home together, and you have it shipped to your house. You go on the honeymoon. You come back, get back, assemble your new home gym, and have a blissful life together. That's what should happen. Now, here's the key, okay? Because, this is advice from grandpa, right? You ain't got to listen to me. I'm telling you, I got kids who got kids, okay? So just listen to me. I've seen a lot, I've done a lot. You want to make those plans I just described, you want to make them before the wedding. That way, if he or she objects, you still have time to cancel the wedding. Because if they're not into home gym equipment, this is never going to work out. Okay, you're just going to end up getting arguments and fights, and you and me trying to smuggle power racks under your shirt into the house. Don't go through all that. So I'm telling you, once again, set up your wedding plans. Say, hey, let's do it in Vegas. We'll have stuff to do, and just say, oh, and by the way, while we're there, we're going to stop by the American Barbell showroom, all right, and just see what they say. Second thing is, this is going to be a performance and education center like the Elite FTS compound and Sorinex. So if there's a seminar or something like that there, again, you can schedule to attend it, and you'll have cool stuff to do in the evenings after the event is over. If you go to Elite FTS, no knock on London, Ohio, but I'm just telling you that Las Vegas, I've never been to London, Ohio. I've been to Ohio multiple times. I've been to the Arnold multiple times. And I'm just going to tell you, unless you are a fan of the Ohio State, which I'm not, go Dogs, but unless you are a fan of Ohio State, even if you're a bandwagon fan now that they won the national championship, but unless you're a fan of theirs, ain't much attracted me to Columbus, Ohio, or anything else in Ohio, okay? So London, Ohio is not on my destination list, okay? But if you're going to go to something in Vegas, there's stuff to do. My wife and I remember went to Vegas. We were doing a documentary covering a guy who was doing a strongman show. And we went there. We're shooting the documentary, right? So, of course, we're going around shooting footage and stuff. That's during the day. At night, we don't have anything to do. I mean, it's not like we're in the competition. We go work out, and they're like, well, now what do you want to do? So I still remember it was like 11 o'clock at night, and we're laying there. And I said, hey, you want to go get a tattoo? She's like, yeah, all right. So we get up and go get her a tattoo. We checked out Fremont Street, made plans to go axe throwing. It's cool. So that's what you get from having American Barbell there. So I think that is a good thing. All right. It is now time for, news and, I'm sorry, I got to pay bills. So news and other things was sponsored by Bob and Brad. I've had their X6 Pro massage gun for a week, and I definitely recommend it. It offers 6 attachments, 5 speed settings, improved massage heads, including a hot and cold head. It's got 55 pounds of stall force, so it doesn't cut off when you apply pressure to a stubborn knot. It's going to give you up to 4 hours of use before you need to recharge it. And you can use our affiliate link to grab it from Amazon. I'm going to go ahead and paste that link in the live chat, but it is already in the video description. So you guys can go and take advantage of it, and make sure that you use promo code Bob and Brad X6E10. Don't worry about trying to memorize that. It's also in the video description. That way you guys will save when you make your purchase. All right, so let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and I paste that. And I just pasted the link to go check it out on Amazon in the live chat. And the promo code is in the video description. All right, and so now I'm going to go ahead. I'm actually going to do this out of order, okay? Before we get mad, let's do some. No, we're going to do it in the same order, and then we'll use this to calm you down, okay? So, time for the most popular segment. That's right. Time for Recliner Rage. Dadgummit, Recliner.
It's the Recliner of Rage.
It's the Recliner of Rage, 'cause he's not happy.
Okay, so I am not happy at all. I'm happy that I see Cody backstage, okay? So that's going to be, Cody's going to play a critical role in getting me calmed back down when I bring him on, okay? But I am not happy at all. Today's Recliner of Rage is dedicated to Hyper Ice, okay? For their Hyper, and I'm going to show it on screen. I just got up and grabbed the box. Hyper Ice for their Hyper Ice X. You guys see that? Shoulder contrast therapy system. Because apparently one size does not fit all. So I'm a trusting soul. I know y'all think, I'm jaded by my years on earth, but I'm not. I'm actually a fairly trusting person. I believe when stuff says something on the website, I'm like, okay, maybe it's probably true, okay? Well, apparently I shouldn't be like that, because I went to go get this thing. This is the shoulder contrast device. And I go on the internet, and it shows, pretty much there's only one size available. Well, that tells me one size should fit all, right? So I put this gadget on. All right. And you guys going to look at that. See, it's already coming loose. It's supposed to be on my... Look, man. Look at that. This is supposed to attach to the other. Do you see that? It not even attached. And then when I take the... And how am I supposed to put it on by myself? Let's just ask that question while we're mad anyway. So I got... Do you see that? It won't come. Okay. That's the problem that we face right now. Okay? I ordered the thing because I'm pushing myself kind of hard on the bench press. And I need something. Every now and then my shoulders get mad at me. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna order that. But as I said, there's only one available. It's supposed to get secure. It's supposed to be secure on your body. You're supposed to be able to put it on, walk around, and do stuff with it on. And it's giving you hot, cold therapy so you feel better. But I can't even put it on because it don't fit. So I said to myself, why don't they have more than one option on here? How can there something that fits the average 100-pound marathon runner also fit me? I'm not the biggest dude I know. I'm the biggest dude a lot of people know, but I'm not the biggest dude I know. All I know is I don't fit through every doorway, at least not without making an adjustment, right? And how can you expect something that fits your average coffee stirrer built marathon runner to fit me too? But I said back to myself, surely they thought of that. I mean, there got to be at least one high-level CrossFitter or high-level weightlifter or power lifter or maybe a football player or two among their sponsor athletes at least. And somebody's like, hey, this thing don't fit, right? I mean, even an airline has a seatbelt extender. But as y'all saw, it doesn't fit. So you can't say that I didn't try. I tried to put it on right in front of you. I literally had my wife help me put that thing on, and it still didn't attach. So I'm just walking around with stuff just flapping off of me. So I'm not saying that no football player can wear it, but I am saying that once you get past the 3rd grade and Pop Warner, only football players wearing that are likely to be punters and kickers, with the exception of Joey Sly. So what am I supposed to do with that thing? I can't even reach it. I threw it too far, to be honest with y'all. So this is the part where I'm supposed to hold it up. I can't. I threw it too far. So I'm mad about that too. All right? It doesn't fit. What am I supposed to do with it? So I need somebody at Hyperice to give me a solution. Correction. I need somebody at Hyperice to give me a free solution because I already spent money on it. Either make a bigger one, or I don't care if you sew 2 of them together and mail it to me, and mail it to me expeditiously. Expeditiously. My shoulder hurts. Okay. Okay. Calm down. Take a breath. You don't need no high blood pressure, plus you got a whole show to do. So just calm all the way down. That's better. Okay. All right. I'm taking my own advice. I'm calming down, especially since I have something cool to show you guys. Before we shout out to the Central Time Zone and we bring Cody on, I do have something. I'm actually sweating because I actually am irritated. No, I'm actually angry about that. When the show's over, Raul, remind me when the show's over to get that thing and throw it again. But something cool happened a couple of weeks ago. So you guys see the guys from the church group who are singing behind me, right? These guys singing behind me.
It's the recliner of rage.
It's the recliner of rage, 'cause he's not happy.
Okay, those guys, them, right? Well, those guys are from my church worship team, and every one of them is a home gym owner. And it was so cool that you guys were buying super chats. You guys bought super chats and said you wanted me to get coffee for the worship team. Okay, so that's what I did. Check it out.
Morning, thanks so much for choosing our Dunkin'. What can I get started for you today?
Let me get 3 large coffees, and let me get 6 creams, 6 sugars, and that's it.
And all of them?
No.
Is it 2 black and then 1?
And then 6 creams.
6 sugars.
Yeah.
Got it. Just want to check. All right, so it's 10:24 today.
All right, thank you.
Pleasure.
All right, I just ordered coffee for the guys from the church worship team as instructed. So your super chat money is about to help them get their Sunday started. All right, perfect. Thank you. All right, you too.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Hey. Okay, so there you go. Let's see here. Let's go. What in the world? I don't even know some. All right, maybe I need to scroll back because I'm looking at some of these comments, right? All right. Okay, so this is about coffee. So Michael Brandon said, I'm from Compton, California. Hey, Compton. Said, yeah. Anyway, we're going to stop because we don't have, the rest of that song I can't say. But he said, I'm from Compton. I drink coffee when I visit family. Coffee gives me that courage. Oh, dude, I don't blame you. That's why CT Fletcher's so aggressive. Jared says, who needs a honeymoon? We all need a sick home gym, though. Hey, look, man, I love my home gym, but when we finally got to go on our honeymoon to Puerto Rico 20 years after we got married, that was a good time. Jared says, sometimes to keep the ladies calm, just put the products in the gym and don't need to discuss it. Look, my wife will find it, okay? Because first of all, she sees the stuff when it shows up at the house. And in fact, we just had something delivered to the house, and she looks out. She hears the truck, right? And so she goes outside. She gets out of her office. Her office is downstairs. She goes out of her office and sees the dude trying to figure out what he's going to do. He's got a hand truck, but it's so big that he can't figure out how he's going to get it inside her doorway. So she has to open the garage door. And then she ended up having to help him get it into the house. So, yeah, there's that. But anyway, yeah, that wouldn't work over at this address. Yes, they did. Hey, look, HTTR, man, I've been a Redskin fan since 1982. And I'm going to continue to be a fan of the team. I do not particularly like the current team name. I think it's stupid. It's also way too long. Anytime you look at any of their merch, anytime the name starts like over here by your right armpit and ends at somewhere around your left rib cage, it's too long. Okay. So that's what I think. Anyway, so Cody, you're not going to appease me telling me my biceps are just too big. You're not going to appease me. Okay. But keep saying it. Thank you. I appreciate that. And let's see here. So it's a shoulder ice for ants. Oh, Carlos said I should not calm down. So this isn't woosah time. Be mad. It's called rage for a reason. And then there's a bunch of incriminating stuff about related to sneaking home gym equipment into people's homes. I'm not going to touch any of that because I'm not going to be part of getting y'all in trouble because you ain't sleeping in my house. We are full. All that stuff. I see all the stuff y'all are saying, your techniques and your strategies for sneaking home gym equipment in the house so your wife don't see it. I would just like to say this does not reflect the official position of Garage Gym Life. And basically, I think that open and honest communication is the foundation of a successful and happy marriage. And I hope that I would think that you guys would be picking out home gym equipment that would meet the needs of the entire family, including the wife and kids. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to go with. All right. It is now close enough to 7 that I can abandon this completely and talk about something safer. Shout out to the Central Time Zone. We already had some people from the Central Time Zone watching the show. And I appreciate you guys being here. I do not, however, need you to just watch this video. I want you to do something else. Hey, I don't want you to just watch this video. I need you to like, subscribe, and if you're already a subscriber, I want you to join our channel for 99 cents a month so you can help us improve YouTube for the home gym community. Okay, back to the video. Okay, today we're going to be talking about winterproofing your shed, and it is a little late because some parts of the country have had snow already, but this show is watched. Number one, the show is watched in more countries than just the United States. Plus, snow does melt. So if you're watching this, you might be able to grab a window of time to implement some of the changes we're going to talk about. A lot of the products we'll talk about are available if you click that shopping button that's in the bottom corner of the video. I don't remember if it's the right corner or left corner, but it is in one corner of this video. There's a little shopping button. And if you click on that, you will be able to check out some of the products that we're going to mention. These companies are not sponsoring the video necessarily, but if you get them through YouTube, you will be supporting the show. So are you ready, Cody? All right, Cody is ready. So we're going to go ahead and bring on our resident expert, Cody Lutz from Backyard Shredz. Show your love. Cody! Oh, look at that. The crowd goes wild. No, not just the women. He's married. Everybody. Oh, stop it. Stop it. Cody, come on. Does that happen when you go to when you're like, is those all the ladies from the car rider line?
Listen, man, there's a reason why I had to get a home gym. Yeah, I can't go out in public anymore. It's getting crazy.
I understand. It's a burden. I heard that you're a big hit in the car rider line when you drop your kids off at school. I heard that about you. So, all right, man. So let's now you see that all these people in the live chat, and they're gonna be, just like before, they're gonna be commenting. But you did mention something when we were talking earlier in your email back to me that a lot of people may not have seen the first episode when you were on with me. So before we dive into the meat of the segment, go ahead and let everybody know who you are and a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's been a bit. And actually I have a crazy story, John, of something that happened happened to my home gym shed just a couple weeks after we talked last in September. So
I just want to stop you right there. And I want you to understand that anything you say on this show can be put in court. Okay. So I'm not here to help you out. I can't be at court. I got to work that day. I
Not
can't go
that
to court
crazy.
with you.
Not that crazy.
Okay, I can't go to court with anybody. I got to work that day. All right, go ahead. Tell your story.
Good. Yeah. So what's up, guys? Great to see everybody here, man. It looks like the show is really growing, John. But I'm Cody from Backyard Shredz. I started Backyard Shredz just about a year ago. Kind of born out of my own experience. I built this 12 by 20 home gym shed that I'm in right now last summer. And 2 summers ago, turned it into a home gym and a home office. And it is absolutely phenomenal to have a dedicated place to train that's sort of removed from the house and everything. And I started Backyard Shredz to help other people do the same. So we have like building plans on the internet, on the website that people can like build something similar to this for their own home gyms, and lots of different resources along those lines. Also do fitness coaching for dads. So that's kind of what we're up to. Got the whole Bibles, barbells, and babies mojo going on over here. Just trying to help dads, get in shape.
That's right. And not raise normal kids.
Yeah.
Right. See, I saw it. I saw the video. You had
the video.
On YouTube. Everybody shout out.
Normal.
You guys need to check out Backyard Shredz on YouTube. You guys can see that video. Said the normal sucks. Don't raise normal kids. I love it. Well, man, I did a Google search, as I told you, and the things that came up for getting your shed or your barn ready for winter are: you want to check your doors and windows for cracks and holes. You want to repair or replace, stuff as needed. You want to grease your hinges so they move easily. That's not something I actually thought about, because I was thinking of, keep the cold out, but I didn't think about that, your hinges you might not be able to open the door. I know that on my shed, because of how the wood expands and contracts with the winter, sometimes the door doesn't want to shut. Sometimes it's hard to open. So it never occurred to me until I saw this. I was like, it's probably a good idea to grease your hinges before winter. Another one that kind of makes a little bit more sense now that we've had something from my neighbor's yard fall on my fence. It says, ensure your roof shingles are secure. It wasn't roof shingles, it was a tree branch, but still, it had me thinking about stuff that flies, that can fly off.
Crazy story about that. Ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I just looked on the calendar. Last time we talked, it was like the beginning of September that I was on the show. Just a couple weeks after that, I was standing right here. I have like a desk up against like one side of my my shred, and I was standing here working on my computer. And all of a sudden there was this loud crack. And then before I had a time to think about it, the entire room exploded and a massive tree fell through the middle of my shed, like just a few feet behind me. You see where this deer skull is right here? That's the dead center of the shred. And that's exactly where a tree just fell through, cut through the entire ceiling, the entire roof, and it was just resting on this wall and that wall right there.
So I think you had actually a YouTube Shorts video where you said I almost died or whatever.
Yeah.
I was trying to find it. It was like, this dude, it was almost over. It's almost over for your hero.
It was crazy, man. I mean, big old tree like this just chopped right through, like just a few feet. That's like 5 feet behind my head.
That ain't cool. And you were in the gym at the time?
I was right here. Yeah, I was right here. And it was, just didn't even know what was happening. It just was just nuts. So I'm lucky to be here, man. Grateful.
That's no bueno. And look, you're getting the accolades coming in hot in the live chat. So let's go ahead. So Carlos said the true meaning of the BBB. So I love the hoodie, Cody. Eric gives you a shout out. He says that he's shouting out your skills. He said Cody builds a great snowman. That's noteworthy. All right, that's an underrated skill.
Do you know about that story too?
No, but I'm ready to hear it.
Okay, I went like 6 years ago. I went like super crazy viral, and now like every year it keeps going viral. I made like a 9-foot tall snowman in our front yard. I built it like there was like a huge tree stump, so I used that as like the base, and I covered it in snow. Okay. Right, so I covered the base of this huge tree stump that's like 3 feet around in our front yard. I put that as the base, covered in snow. Built a snowman on top of that. It was like 9 feet tall in our front yard. And I came back from work the next day, and there were tire tracks leading through the front yard.
Oh boy!
You see where this is going? Yeah. Stopped like abruptly at the snowman, and the snow had like cracked away from the tree stump, so you could actually see the tree stump in there now. But basically somebody tried to like run over the snowman, but they didn't with their truck, but they didn't realize that there was a tree.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. So I posted about that on like Facebook after it happened. And like this guy from like the local Fox News, this guy from like the local Fox News like messaged me, was like, yo, can we do like a segment on the local news, like interview you in front of your house for the local news tonight? And I was like, yeah, man. And so we did the local news, and then like the next morning, like the morning show, like national morning show picked it up. And then it was like I was just getting called from like all the news places, and I think the Fox News video on YouTube has like 18 million views or something. It's crazy.
Oh, now here's the question. Do they point it back towards your channel like good Christians should?
You know, at the time, I didn't have like a YouTube channel or anything like that. Okay. That's the thing. Like every YouTuber knows like what those views are worth. And I'm like, yeah, oh, man, I need to make my own video about it, because now that I actually have a YouTube channel, I would love to get some of that traffic.
But no, so let me say this. So you've got a channel. I'm sorry. You've got the name of the person who interviews you.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Literally just call them.
I probably should. Yeah. And just
call them and just say, hey, do you mind just ask your social media person to just point that video towards my channel, because that's going to help you out. And I mean, if they say no, you haven't lost anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I should do that. Good thinking.
And then you can also, I think when you do, as you were saying, you can make videos and point them at that video. So you kind of get like the thing. That way it'll just at least mention, at the very least, they could put your YouTube handle or something like that in the description or something to just help you out.
I should do a follow-up video like, where is he now? The snowman.
There you go. Yeah. And say like, this is what launched my internet fame.
Yeah. We build strong snowmans and we build strong sheds.
There you go. See that? Man, because it's funny because I was watching the Weather Channel one night, and this guy, Laird Ross, he does strongman and powerlifting. He's in Australia. And I saw this video of him in his backyard lifting, and I had seen the video on Instagram because he and I follow each other on Instagram. And I see it, and I was like, so I messaged him. I said, oh, shoot, Laird hit the big time, right? So I messaged him. I say, hey, man, your video, I just saw your video on the Weather Channel. You know, like they have like those weird things that or whatever. It wasn't even weather related.
Yeah.
He just had it up there, right? I said, man, it's on the Weather Channel. He said, what video are you talking about? He had no idea they had taken this video.
No kidding.
And they put it up. Yeah. So
did they put his like handle or whatever though? Like
no, nothing. The only reason I knew it was him was because I recognized the video.
That's
the flip side of it is my guy Jason Mike. He's a world record holding powerlifter. He's also he's 300 pounds and he can dunk a basketball like 360-degree dunk. And he actually had, I think it was like Bleacher Report asked for his video of dunking the basketball. Yeah. And so that helped propel him because he did get credit for it. He actually got paid for it. So that's what I'm saying is like, you need to see. You need to spin the block.
Like at the time, I pointed everything to like my media company, Cody Lutz Media. I don't really do anything with that now. Like, so.
But hey, can you update this?
I know, like I should have been like, I realize now, like there are whole agencies that handle like viral media so that you get paid and like they handle that stuff. Like, and they try, because those big news companies know what they're doing, man. They're taking all this content from creators and making big bucks on it, man.
Yeah, because we're so dumb. We're there like, oh, I'm just so happy I was on the news. Like,
exactly. I'm just like, hey,
get your money, man. Get your money. All right. Oh, wow. So you're also causing havoc in homes. He said, Cody, you're so cool that my kid says you're more of a role model than me. And he says, I'm kidding. He said, my kid's a true supervillain. Wow. There's a lot going on, Carlos. Hey.
I can't help with that.
Wow. That's my brother. I am not saying that. All right. He keeps on trying to get people to call him uncle. I'm not calling my brother uncle. Not doing it. Rest of y'all can do it. I'm not calling him uncle. Let's see. And Home Gym Gain says, I'm tuning in with my hot chocolate. He said, Cody, I'm going to need your shed gym advice. When my wife decides to kick me out of the house for having too many gym equipment, that's going to be rough. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So like I was mentioning all the stuff that he said, ensure your roof shingles are secure, add insulation around your doors, walls, and the roof, seal drafts with caulk, and add draft guards. is there anything you would add to that list? Because that's kind of like a generic list for just if you got a shed.
Yeah.
Right. But there's a difference in having a shed and maybe you're doing like, I don't know, woodworking projects in there, and a shed gym where you ideally want to be able to take off your hoodie and go down to shorts if possible or whatever. So what would you add to that list?
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the things that I am looking to get is one of those little heat guns. I haven't got one, but one of those like thermal imaging guns. They're not that expensive at like Harbor Freight or whatever, or Amazon.
Good.
But you can get those and you can just like point them around the different like parts. You can do this in the house too, but, like point them around different parts of the room. You can see like where the cold spots are and stuff. And like add, draft protection and insulation and stuff. I have a door on the back of my shed here. So this is like Gorilla Tape. So I actually taped up some of the seams on that door just to make it a little bit warmer. So I was losing some cold air there going in.
Right.
Fix your shingles. One of the things, speaking of shingles, and I'll put a shameless plug in here for the building plans that I have for the home gym sheds. One of the things about like a lot of cheap sheds is everything's done as cheaply as possible, right? Like you get a cheap shed, right, it's cheaply built. And that's true of like roofing and stuff too. If you have shingle roofs, if you live anywhere that has like snow, especially, there it is.
Yeah.
If you live anywhere that has snow, you really need what's called a water and ice dam protector underneath your shingles along the eaves of your roof. So it's basically like a big sticker of shingles that rolls on underneath the shingles. So that way, if you because we actually got like a couple feet of snow, which is a lot for us here in Kentucky, a couple weeks ago. Right. And so up on the roofs, on the eaves, it was all built up. And if it melts a little bit, you get this ice that builds up along the gutters, right? And what that can do is that ice can kind of get underneath the shingles, and actually the water and stuff can leak down in underneath the shingles along the eaves of your roof. So we include those types of details in the building plans that we have, because these are built like houses rather than just like a cheap little shed. So that's one thing that you got to think about is if you have a shingle roof, make sure that it's done right for the winter time, especially if you live in a climate with snow.
Okay, so you're getting a shout out for your camera and mic, but you did say that you had like a media company, so
yeah,
that makes sense.
And I do YouTube and stuff. Yeah,
it's like we've got these cameras here, and we'll go shoot a video, and my wife's not just use this, and I'm like, we're still paying for that camera, we're using it, or we just paid that one off. I don't care, we're still using it. We'll figure it out. We're using it for something. So yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I like good light. I got some good lighting and everything in here. I was just filming a YouTube video last night, actually, so I still got all my like cameras and stuff set up.
Well, I remember when we did the interview before, you were showing like how open your gym is and how like you've got like the good lighting, you've got the big windows and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's actually, to me, it's like when you build something versus kind of like repurposing a room. You build the room saying, okay, I know I'm going to do this and this and this. So you build it on purpose for that. I think that's a highly underrated aspect of having building an additional building on your property. Now, I don't know if Jonathan is still watching, but Jonathan, I don't know if you've seen some of his stuff, but Jonathan had like a thing where he's building a shed on his property. And he said that he ended up coming in, like it cost a lot more than he anticipated, because it just, like in his head, like, okay, this is how big it should be. But then he actually gets to see how big that is. And he said, oh, wow. And then how much contractors charge. So do you have that in kind of accounted for in your building plans?
In fact, that's one of the interesting things. I'm working on a couple videos right now. One of the videos that's coming up on the YouTube channel is looking at like cost comparison of buying versus building a shed. And that was one of the reasons why I built my own and why I do the building plans for people, because you can save so much money building it yourself, especially like, and you can build it nice. You can build it good quality, good construction, and you can get more, more space, more bang for your buck, for your budget by building it yourself. And it's not that hard if you have some basic tools, some basic skills, and the right plans. But yeah, I mean, one of the things that you start figuring out when you look at like all of the advertised prices of sheds, is that the price is not actually the price. That's like the start. They advertise like, oh, it only costs $6,000 or whatever.
As low as,
as
low as,
right? But then it's like a delivery fee and a permit fee, and you still got it. And that's not even counting like the foundation. Sometimes the floor itself is not even like counted in that price. You still got to put in like a foundation or like a gravel pad or something like that. It's, you know, it's not counting like the shingles or the paint or whatever. So, I mean, there's so many upcharges and stuff like that ends up being twice that price. I actually have, as part of like the planning bundle on the website, for people that not only just are looking to build, but they're just trying to get started and trying to plan their project. Like it's got like a detailed price calculator, like cost estimator built in. So I've got like a detailed material list that includes the price of like the site prep and the gravel pad, a foundation that you're going to put in. It includes like the paint and all the extra stuff and the trim. And it's got detailed itemized lists for all the materials that you're going to need with prices. And then like an adjustment, like calculator that you can put in the price of materials in your area locally, and then it'll spit out like a closer estimate to what you're going to look at. So you know how much to budget for your project, basically. Yeah. Because those things always like they get a lot more expensive, especially if you're looking at one number and not realizing that there's a whole lot more that goes into the project.
Yeah, and then also, you know, we're talking about how it may be too late to do all this winterizing now. But
right.
You may not have a shed yet. Yeah. So this is a good time to start planning it. You're like, hey, by the way, I need to make sure I factor this in to my plans for the shed that we're going to build this summer, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so, it's a great summer project. Good time to start planning.
So Eric says, I've seen some draft blocker tape ads on Instagram, and he said that the thing is, you got to make sure that your shed is heated and cooled like his.
Yeah.
Because
go ahead.
He said he had minus 38-degree wind chill a couple of weeks ago, and it was still about 64 degrees in his shed. So
nice.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, Eric has the legendary shed there.
Well, he was coming from I think he was coming from his basement. He went from there to the shed. So he had time to figure out like how to, you know, maximize his environment.
Yeah.
I would say he did a good job of it. And by the way, people have been asking about your hoodie. So I went ahead and I put the link for the hoodie in the live chat. And I will put the link for the link to backyardshredz.com is already in the show description.
Sweet.
But I'll go ahead and put the link to the specific hoodie in the show description for all of you guys who are watching on replay. So just click on where it says more under the YouTube description, and you'll see like a whole bunch of stuff, and it'll be under resources mentioned.
Yeah, man, I love that. We got all the merch and, you know, all the fun stuff.
Oh yeah. All right. So now that being said, I mentioned that, you know, everybody knows it's January as we're filming this, almost February, and it's already snowed heavily in multiple parts of North America. Is it too late to winterize your shed for lifting?
Well, I mean, the one thing that if you haven't done this, it's definitely not too late. And the thing that will make the biggest difference and is really not that hard, not that expensive, is adding insulation. So like most sheds, just a lot of people that I see out on like the internet that have home gym sheds, if they're not like finished inside like mine, most of the time it's just they just have the four walls. And sometimes like I've seen a lot of people on the internet, like they have a heater or something like that in their shed, but they don't have insulation. It's like brushing your teeth while eating Oreos. Like it's just pointless. Like, so if you're heating your shed, if you're gonna spend the money,
I don't know why that's so funny to me, but it is.
Brushing your teeth, Oreos.
Yeah.
Good visual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Professional. Yeah. That word. I got it.
So just put the Oreos down for a second.
Okay.
And put some insulation in your walls, because honestly, it's really, especially if you do like something like fiberglass insulation, it's super easy, super cheap. Now, I mean, if you do like the spray foam, like that's the good stuff, and that's going to be a higher R value. It's going to be, but it's a little bit more pricey. But yeah, it's really it's even if you don't finish your walls or anything like that, just putting insulation up will be dramatically different for how consistent the temperature stays in that room. Even if you don't heat it, it'll stay a consistent temperature, whether it's cool in the summer or hot in the winter. You know, just and then when you put a heater in there, it's going to be a world of difference.
All right, so I'm going to ask you a question that I honestly don't know the answer to, which is a
Okay.
violation of what they taught me in school when I was taking going to be a journalist, trained to be a journalist. You're not supposed to ask questions you don't know the answer to, because what else?
Those are the only questions I ask.
It's like, well, so they tell you not to do that because let's say you're interviewing a politician and you ask him a question and you have no idea what he's going to tell you. Let's say he says something that shocks you, right? Now you're going to be so shocked that you won't be able to follow up, and you'll look unprofessional because you'll be scrambling. You're like,
he might say something about brushing his teeth with Oreos.
Yeah, then you're like, what? So you can't do that. So you have to know the answer to the question, or at least have an idea what the answer is. But I'm going to violate that because I'm a rule breaker. I'm a rebel. I live in America. All right. We left an entire country because we didn't like what they were talking about with tea. Okay. So what I want to know is, do you have it's two-part. Do you have a specific brand of that insulation that you recommend to people? And if you do you have like some sort of Amazon storefront where people can get that specific brand because that's the one you recommend?
Yeah.
If you don't, then that's cool too. But do you have a brand that you're like, oh, well, I've been using this and people tend to like this more or whatever?
Yeah. I think the brand that I use is the Owens Corning, like Pink Panther fiberglass insulation that they sell at Home Depot.
Okay.
I probably should have like affiliate links to that in my YouTube video at least. I have a YouTube video about insulation. I'm gonna get on that. I didn't have the affiliate stuff set up at the time when I made that YouTube video, but I should go back and put that in the description. But
the pink stuff.
Yeah, the pink stuff.
The 19R wall or whatever.
In a 2x4 wall, you're probably looking at like R14, R13 to R15 in that range.
Okay. Well, because I am responsive, I went ahead and I just added to the shopping button. Right there. So if you guys click that shopping button, you will see the insulation that Cody recommends, and it's right there. All right.
There you go.
I'm not sure why Carlos is talking about polka dot toothpaste. But I think it's related to the Oreos and brushing your teeth thing. Yeah. So you see what you started. I hope you're happy. Now. So what are some tips to make your shed ready for winter that you would say, hey, this is something you need to look at doing next summer, or wait till the weather warms up, but make sure if you haven't already done it, don't do it now. But as soon as it warms up, go ahead and make sure you do it so you're ready for the following winter. So what about that?
Okay. Well, so another like super simple, but like kind of stupid thing that you may not think about is if you don't have like a good floor mat in front of your door in the wintertime when it's like muddy out or whatever, and you're like tracking snow or whatever into your shed, like having a place to like take your shoes off or wipe your shoes at least and stuff like that. That's super, super valuable. Easy bonus thing. So you can throw that in the chat as well. So you get people buying floor mats. We need backyard shred floor mat. That'd be awesome.
Dude.
But actually one of the things that I wish that I had done that I'm probably going to do next summer now is my shed's probably about like 15, 20 feet away from my house. And I don't have like any kind of walkway from my shed.
Oh, you need the pavers. Yeah.
Grass. I need some pavers or something, because now that it's wintertime, it's all like mud and everything, and it's just getting gross. So like I need gravel or pavers or something. Yeah. Because it's getting nasty.
The thing about pavers, man, is though like it's a pain in the summertime because now you gotta like edge around them.
That's why I didn't have them.
Yeah, I mean, like, but then in the wintertime, it's like a lifesaver because it makes your footing a lot more stable. But I didn't even think about that. And so I was talking to Rory Ellis from Roman Strength, and he said, let me look at the this text thread with he and I, and he said he's got a giant gap of about 5 inches between his doors and the outside where heat just escapes. So that's what I was thinking about when you were talking about like having the mat to just kind of like block that up a little bit. And he said that because I was asking him how big his shed is, and he said, well, and I told him why, and he said he could have used this podcast a month ago because his building that he built has been a refrigerator.
Yeah.
Right. So his building is not a shed; it's bigger. It's it's 600 square feet. It's 20 by 30. It's got 15 foot ceilings at the peak.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about some of the recommendations you would have. Like out of the recommendations you've given, how many of those would work for somebody who's got a building that's more like what Rory has?
Yeah.
That's like a bigger building.
Well, you still got to insulate it. Like same principle applies. Like if you don't insulate the space, like any heating or cooling that you put in there is just going to escape. So you still got to, like you said, like you got to find those air gaps and stuff like that and seal them up with, if you can seal them up, even with tape or something like that at the very minimum. Pole barn.
That's what his gym looks like. That's what they're referring to.
Right.
Rory's gym. But
yeah. I almost did a pole barn actually here, and actually it was a lot easier. Like permits and things like that were actually a lot easier to build a shed, and it was easier that way. I could. I live in like a flood zone, so I didn't want to do like a concrete on grade floor because if it ever floods, this is actually built. My shed's built up a little bit, so that is probably safe.
That's how we keep in our shed is like lawn care stuff, but it's up on stuff as well on not pilings, but like those concrete footers.
Yep.
Yeah, so we have them up on those.
Yeah, so benefits of that, but I mean, the insulate the walls for sure, and then whatever heating and cooling like situation you got going on, like you're just gonna have to get a lot bigger unit for that. Which I made a video about this as well on the YouTube channel, but I installed a 12,000 BTU mini split in my shed. And that thing is awesome for heating and cooling. I supplement it with like a electric space heater in here just because it doesn't do so well when it gets like real cold. The heat pump doesn't do well. It's not very efficient. But like whatever you're using, like if you're using like a propane or kerosene heater or something like that, those kerosene, there it is. Those kerosene. You found the part where I cut my finger open too, right there.
Hey, I'm a trained professional. I'm an investigative journalist. Okay, like, it's easy. And why are you bleeding? Okay, no.
It's not a successful DIY project unless you're bleeding.
Oh, there you go. That's a good point too. Okay, so I mean, people seeing stuff like that though. I promise you, some of that will like intimidate people. Yeah. Especially like some of the people who watch the show, and who watch my channel in general. They're not handy. You know what I mean? To which you could then say, well, you shouldn't be building a shed if you're not handy. But I'll also say that we found over time that sometimes this stuff isn't as hard as you would think it is. It's more a case of you being like intimidated by it. Mm-hmm. Then you get into it. You're like, oh, okay, this actually wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. So, especially if you've got like a guide, like what you put out, like with your guides and you got the videos and stuff. So may not actually have that be that bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's all like everything's time or money, right? Like you pay somebody else to do it or you do it yourself. And like I have this disease called I think I can figure that out. And it gets me in trouble, like in a lot of ways where I'm like, I could do that. And then I can't do that. But a lot of times I think, I could do that. And then I'm like, hey, I
was right.
Yeah, I was right. Because I tend to underestimate how hard things can be. And I go like, oh, well, how hard could that be? I'll figure it out. Which is, I think, like the classic like entrepreneurship thing. Like I think every entrepreneur has that because they get into it thinking, it'll be easy, But yeah, it's not as hard as a lot of people think. And that was really my goal with like the building plans, is just to condense a lot of things that took me a lot of time to research and learn into like one download, where it just, if you can get all of that in a weekend in one document that's going to tell you exactly what you need to know, you don't have to watch 100 YouTube videos or whatever. It's a lot easier.
And you can follow it step by step. That's the other thing that's intimidating, I think, for people to like look at all this stuff. It's like, well, it's not, you're not about to write a book report on it. You literally go one step at a time. Like, this is step 1, follow that step. Step 2, follow that step. Get to a stopping point, stop, right? Or whatever. So
buy these exact tools, buy these exact materials, cut the board exactly this long and nail it this way. I mean, it really is like step by step.
Yeah, and even some places like Home Depot, I think Lowe's does it, but I know Home Depot does it. They'll cut your wood for you. You just tell them, hey, I want it cut to this. And they'll say, okay. Because, especially, obviously, you got to be buying it from them. But you buy it, and you just say, hey, can you cut these boards into these sections or whatever, cut it to these measurements. And they will do it for you. Free, not free of charge, but it won't be as expensive as you think it is.
So and it may not be like, I don't know if they do that at scale, like if you're, doing hundreds of boards for like a shed or something, but like a mate, but yeah, I mean, it's not super complicated. One of the things actually that I'm working on this year as part of the business is to expand into a built for you option for the sheds. So, because I totally understand, like, there are a lot of people that are like, that's exactly what I want. I would love to have like a dedicated, detached space to train on my property, but like, there's no way I'm going to build that myself. I'll just pay somebody to build this or whatever. So we're working through the business model for that, and hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have something available to offer people who want it built for them.
So when you do that, though, and I know we're kind of getting away from the winterizing thing, but now you got me curious. When you do that, different municipalities, cities, counties, whatever, have different rules about what would they call it an ADU? Would they look at it as like an additional dwelling unit?
Yeah.
And then there are rules for what an ADU is and the size it can be and all that. That all varies. And you've got some of that stuff already on your website. But if you're building it for somebody, or would you say, okay, this is the basic building, and now based upon whatever your situation is, we can customize it a little bit for you? Or are you pretty much just going to say, look, here's a box, and when you get it, you customize it to make sure that it fits?
I'm playing around with like a few different options, John. Like, some could be like a kind of built for you on site kind of thing. And then you've got to like figure out all of the different, permits and whatnot. And you're still probably going to have permits either way, depending on the size, building permits. And those vary depending on where you live, right? Those are very much localized as well. And like the ADU requirements and things like that. So it's like from the HOA level to the city level to the county level.
Oh yeah. If you got an HOA, you just go ahead and wave the white flag.
Yeah, exactly.
Just go ahead.
Exactly.
Just give up.
Some have rules about like you can have a shed, but it can't be taller than this or bigger than this. It has to be the same color as the house, has to be in the backyard, etc. So you just got to navigate those pieces. But there are a lot of big shed companies out there, that sell like pre-built units, and they just roll them off a truck and kind of like they'll help you navigate that for a fee, or you can figure that piece out yourself before you buy it. So I kind of would like the idea of actually having them pre-built and actually sell them like even with equipment. So it's like, basically we roll it off the truck for you. It's all finished inside. Like we have a few interior like options that you can choose from, a few different sizes you can choose from, and then like some packages for equipment layouts. And then like we'll just come set up the equipment and like boom, there you go. Like your home gym is ready.
So what's funny is where I live, if you build it, it's past a certain size, you gotta submit your building plans and all that, right? Yeah. And it's got to match the house. However, there is a loophole, which is like a tiny house loophole. So if you build it somewhere else and then it's delivered to your house and it's up, so it's not like it doesn't have like a foundation or whatever, it's up on whatever.
Yep.
Then you can sometimes get away with it without having to go through some of those hurdles, or it's easier because you didn't build it on your property.
Yeah.
It was delivered to your property, which makes no sense to me, but it does explain why you see so many people buying like these prefab tiny homes, having them delivered to their house. And a shed gym can be, or even a barn gym or pole gym, whatever, pole barn gym can be considered something like a tiny house. So
that's essentially what it is. And that's one of the benefits of having a framed floor as compared to a concrete floor. Obviously, it's cheaper. Concrete's a lot more expensive. It's a lot harder to do it yourself if you are a DIY type of person. The concrete's just a little bit more complicated. But yeah, building it on skids and having a framed floor like what I have here is oftentimes a loophole for the permits and red tape that comes along with building it, because they don't count it as like a it's either considered like something that was built offsite and brought on site, but even if you build it on site, it's not considered like a permanent building,
right?
As it's not on a concrete foundation.
Yeah,
and because it's not permanent.
It's like a trailer.
Yeah. So like
it's like a trailer. Yeah,
less requirements for it sometimes.
Yeah. So let's. So now we're gonna circle back around to heating, because you were talking about heating, and I mentioned to you that I like our this is the kind of heater I have. I've talked about it because people always ask me, when they'll see like in videos and stuff, hey, what kind of heater is that, right? Yeah. So I'm just gonna go ahead and share the screen now because people keep asking me about it. So there it is. This is it right here, and yes, I do have a link for the thing in the shopping, so you guys can, if you want it, go ahead and click on it. It's 23,800 BTUs of warmth. I really wish Dura Heat would sponsor this show, but they don't. But this is the kind of heater that we use, right? Nice. And we like a couple of features about it. That first of all, you get about 10 hours on one tank, right? And I can say anecdotally that one year when we had an ice storm, we were able to warm the house with just that. So I brought the kerosene heater upstairs, and it's not something I would do long term, but we were able to warm it up, keep the house warm until the power could be restored, right? Because there wasn't anything wrong with our actual heater, but if your power goes out, guess what happens to your thermostat? And the thermostat is what turns the heater on. Yeah. So we were able to do that. So it covered a lot more area than our garage, which is only our garage is like 25 by 16. But that thing is good for like up to 1,000 square feet. Here's the thing. I know people in some areas they're not allowed to use kerosene. They have to use propane or whatever. Right. Maybe, so what would you recommend to somebody in those situations after they have insulated? Yeah. What would you recommend? Would you recommend they go with the mini split route? Or would you say, if you don't want to go through the mini split, setting all that up, what would be like a middle ground, something that you would recommend? Yeah, I mean, kerosene and propane heaters are great too. Like, they're super warm. I actually, before I had the mini split, for like most of the fall, I installed this in like maybe November. But for most of the fall, when it was still cold here, I was using one of those like little buddy, Mr. Buddy propane heaters with a 5-gallon tank. Here's the thing, and I hope that you have one of these in your garage where you use your heater. If you are, just a safety thing, if you are using any kind of combustion heat source like propane, anything that burns propane or kerosene or something, do yourself the biggest favor in the world and get a carbon monoxide sensor. Or whatever, a carbon monoxide detector. Yeah, like $20, $15, whatever. Yeah. Get one of those and put them close by in the space, because anytime you have combustion heating, if it's not working properly, you can get carbon monoxide in that space and it will kill you. It's like that. I've known people that have relatives and close friends that have died from that, and you don't smell it, you don't see it. You just kind of feel dizzy, and then you're gone. So you're like, oh, that squat set was really tough. Yeah. And if you're lifting, like sometimes you're kind of used to feeling a little lightheaded or whatever, and you may not even recognize what's happening. Before it's too late. You're passed out on the floor, and 100%. So not to like scare people, but I mean that's just like simple safety stuff that, like, if you're, a lot of people watching this probably are working out in like a garage or shed or something like that, and they're using some kind of heat source like a propane or kerosene. Man, like, please be safe, everybody, and like get yourself just a little carbon monoxide. So and like make sure, actually, it is
you know, you talk about sealing up the building and stuff. If you have combustion, you don't want to do that, right? You actually want a little bit of airflow because you got to replace the oxygen that it's burning in the space.
Yeah.
So, you know, just stuff to think through if you're using a combustion heat source, but they're very effective. I love, I had a propane heater. Here's the thing. Like, I started working out in here, I think last January, before I had it insulated or anything.
Yeah.
And I had that little propane heater, and I would run that thing and it would not affect the temperature at all in here. Like, it just would not.
I'm not a fan of propane as a heat source because I don't know what it is. Maybe the propane heaters aren't as powerful, but my kerosene heater, we actually can't leave it on the whole time. It gets too hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it gets uncomfortably warm. So when we use a propane, though, in the past, it's like there's nothing on. It's like, what is this? Like, we're just spending money for nothing.
It may just be like the BTUs may be different too, because that propane or that kerosene heater that you have is like, that's a lot of BTUs for probably the space that you have it in.
Oh yeah.
So
we literally have to turn it off
too. But I mean, once I put insulation in here, I'd have to run that heater for I'd run the heater for like an hour and I have to turn it off, or like 30 minutes and have to turn it off because it would get so warm in here. So I mean, the insulation just is night and day difference.
So I only have a couple more questions for you, but I do want to, so shout out to, I'm not saying that. Okay. Boo Panky became a YouTube member. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you. So if you guys want to become a member of the channel to support us like he did, it's 99 cents a month. So for less than $12 a year, you guys get access to all of our additional video content. Plus, every dime of it goes back into making cool videos and the content that you guys want to see on here. So I appreciate that. And then Jared has a question for you. He says, if you were to move to a new building, basically if you want to move to a different house, would you design a room somewhere inside the house or your garage, or would you still want a shed gym?
Ooh, that's a tough question. That's a good question, Jared. So I think there's part of this that sounds like a new build is kind of the key piece here. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jared, but like, if I'm designing a house, like to live in, am I going to design like a home gym space, or am I going to just design like in the house, or am I going to design a shed, like detached space?
See, okay, you're right, because that is two separate questions. If you're moving to a house that already exists, then would you want somewhere inside, or would you somewhere outside? Or if you're building it yourself. To me, if you're building it yourself, you're going to automatically build a shed, like some sort of building. Am I right?
But probably both, honestly. I mean, like, you got to work with what you got. Like, and so, I mean, there's so many like factors like the property, what does it look like, you know, finances, budget, all that kind of stuff. Right. But like, if I could just wave a magic wand and like make it exactly what I want, I would ideally have actually like a detached building. Separate space for sure. Yeah, Eric. Same. I'm with you. Separate space for a handful of reasons. One, I love having a dedicated space. Like, when it's part of the house, like, it just feels like that's one of the things with like a home gym is like, oh, you're just sort of at home, and you know. So the nice thing about like going to the gym is that sort of like
you get that context, the travel time.
Yeah, that context. Right, you're changing context, so you're like, I'm arriving at the place where I work out. And so I love having a dedicated space for that reason. I also like having a detached space because, like, if you want to work out in the early morning, like I got babies at home, I got little kids, and I hate working out with headphones personally. Like,
right.
So I love to like blast metal music in here or whatever, like hip hop, and I'm blasting music. I'm grunting on the heavy set, you know, I'm dropping weights every now and then. And I don't want to have to worry about waking anybody up or bothering anybody, you know, even if they are awake. So I love having a detached space. So that's probably what I would build if I were to do it over again somewhere else.
So here's the thing, man. Because I guess my perspective is different because of where I am in my life cycle, I guess. Because I remember some of the things that guys were talking about, like with the little kids, not wanting to wake them up when my kids were little, but they grow. So then we get to the point where, I mean, we've got our daughter, she's going to be 10 this year, and she's accustomed, you know, she's going to school. right? So I typically work out before she gets home. And that's actually what I would do with my other boys until they got old enough to work out with me, at which point we started working out before they went to school. So it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, we're lifting weights, right? Well, before that, I would just work out while they were at school because I had a garage gym. The advantage as you get older of having the gym attached to the house is what happens if something goes wrong?
Yeah,
You know,
true.
now, in fact, I could tell you story time with Grandpa. I remember I was getting ready for a powerlifting meet, downstairs bench pressing, and I was doing some pin presses. And I felt a little twinge in my shoulder. And I was like, all right. So my meathead brain says, oh, this is the solution. I'll just do only one more set instead of two. I plan on doing 2 more sets. You know what? I'll just do this last set and then we'll call it a day. My shoulder doesn't feel good. Okay. That was not, remember, I already felt the pain. I said, we'll just do 1 more set after I've already felt the pain. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't. I'm like, boom. Ah. So then my kids who were upstairs heard and they ran downstairs and got the weight off of me because even though I was in the power rack and it was on the safeties, it still was I was hurt enough. Like I ended up at the emergency room.
Okay.
Right. Wow. The urgent care rather. It was bad enough that I couldn't even wiggle out from underneath the bar, even though it wasn't on me. Like the weight wasn't on me because it was on the safeties, my safety bars, but it was tight. So I couldn't even sag and kind of like wiggle out because I was in so much pain.
Wow.
So had I not been in the house, if I'd been in a separate building, well, you're just going to be out there till the spring thaw. So somebody says, I ain't seen Dad in a while.
That's a great point.
And like, I wonder where he is. I don't know. Did he go out to the gym? I don't know. Let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the other side effect of it too is my wife works out in our home gym, and it's easier for her to just walk out of her. So her office is actually right below me. It's easier for her to walk out of the office and go in there, get some treadmill time or hit a quick lift, and then turn around and walk back in to the office than it would be if she had to walk outside and go into a building outside, right?
Sure.
Additionally, what if she's working out late at night? Now, we have a fairly safe neighborhood, but the guns are in the house. So if she is walking to and from and somebody wants to have some shenanigans and I'm not home, that's just not as safe and secure as if it's in the house. So those are the things that I think about. And in fact, here's my brother, right? He says, I remember when I got pinned under the weight when he and I were on the phone. So he's working out with a headset with an earpiece. And I heard him get pinned under the weight. So yeah, it's just like, now again, he's got a backyard gym. So so some of the stuff it kind of applies. But those are the things I think about because I'm still going to be lifting 20 years from now when I'm in my 70s, right?
Let's go.
Oh, definitely. I mean, my grandfather started lifting weights when he was in his 70s. So I can't stop when I'm in my 70s. No, I got a tradition of old, So those are the things I think about because I'm looking at home ownership long term.
Yep.
So I would say my answer to that is it depends on where I am in terms of life and health and everything else.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the house or outside.
A lot of context there. It's not like the perfect solution for anybody. One of the things I like too, since I do have younger kids, is having all of the weights like secured in a separate place. Because I looked up some stats. I don't have them with me, but it's surprising how many injuries happen to kids on exercise equipment every year. Oh yeah, sure. Right? Because kids and so if you have a home gym and you have little kids, make sure that they don't have access to your stuff. Because if you're not around and they're like, hey, Dad's cool, home gyms, whatever, and they slide one of those plates off, guess what's going to happen? They're strong enough to slide it off or whatever off the rack. They're not strong enough to lift it yet. But they're not strong enough to lift it. It's going to crush their feet. It's going to crush their hands, whatever. They're going to roll something and pinch their fingers. They're going to, get their fingers in the gears of your exercise bike, your treadmill. So for safety reasons too, I like having a detached space that I can lock everything up. And you might be able to do that in a garage, but like basements and stuff like that, you might, if it's in a communal space, that's something you got to think about too. Yeah. But I think that the safety reason though, like you said, hey, if something happens to you, Like I was the same thing. Like I was trying to do
But the tree tried to kill you. And
oh yeah,
there,
yeah. But like trying to do bench lift, a bench press, and like couldn't get up that PR, and had to drop it on the arms. Stuff like that. Like one, like make sure you're using safety arms and stuff like that, and being smart, being safe if you're working out by yourself. But I feel like there's a case here, and I don't have this yet in my shed, but I feel like there's a case for like any home gym, whether it's in the garage or the shed, for like having like an Alexa or something like that.
Oh yeah,
then you could
or
be
even
like
a camera or something. Yeah.
Well, a camera, but like, or like a voice control where you can be like, "Hey Alexa, call my wife," or call
911. Yeah, call somebody.
Yeah,
call somebody. I don't care. Call everybody until somebody shows up.
I mean, you can probably do like, "Hey Siri" or "Hey Google" or whatever. Now all of our phones are gonna like wake up, but
I know, right?
But you can probably do that even with your smartphone. But I feel like having a voice, voice activated smart home system would be smart in your gym just for safety.
So you hope so, but remember you were talking about playing the metal real loud?
That's true.
Your phone has to be able to hear you over the sound of Guns N' Roses or whatever you're listening to, right? I'm like, hey, call my entire contact list until somebody shows up at my house to get me out from under this.
Please.
That's hilarious. All right, we got some new people chiming in. And Rory, we were just talking about your setup, man. Rory Ellis says, good morning, gents.
Yo, Rory.
So if you want to go ahead and repeat what you said about the insulation thing for Rory, because remember, he's got that build. He's got the 5-inch gap.
Oh, yeah.
So if you just go ahead and go back through there. Since he couldn't be here on time, busy defending the country, and all that. But go ahead.
Yeah. Nah, man, just I would insulate before I would focus on any heat or anything like that. I would just get the space insulated first and tape up any air gaps or put insulation in any of those gaps, seal them up as best you can, because otherwise you're going to be wasting a lot of time and money with your heating solution in that space.
Yeah, you specifically said that I forgot what it is now. That insulation is the pink stuff.
Yeah, you can the cheapest option is the fiberglass bats, that stuff. For like a bit more, you can actually get like professional grade spray insulation now that comes in like 5-gallon, like 2 different tanks, and it mixes and activates the chemicals together, like 2 different chemicals in 2 different tanks, and then in the sprayer. Like I don't know if a space that size, like you might be able to do it DIY, but it may just be worth hiring somebody to come insulate the space first, if you want to go the spray foam route. So I say that I used to do insurance claims, and one of the things I think that people don't think about is when they're looking at cost is that insulation is also going to protect your equipment. Mm-hmm. And so like we think nothing of having like a $5,000 power rack, but then we say, well, yeah, but I don't want to pay for insulation to protect the stuff that's in here. So you get the power rack, $400.
I've got a TV hanging in there. I've got all this stuff that's expensive that actually probably needs to have a more constant temperature.
Yep.
All right. But I don't want to pay for this expensive insulation or pay somebody to come out and insulate it and I'm as guilty about that as anybody else. You start looking at your gym and say, it's about like $20,000 worth of stuff in here. I probably ought to do a better job of protecting the space. So there's that too.
Yeah.
So we were talking, you said that your shed, as we wrap up here, you're talking about how your shed is elevated off the ground, right?
Yes.
So flooding's not an issue for you. But I know that keeping the heat from escaping through the floor is a problem.
Yeah.
So I shared with you 2 different subfloors. There's the one from Dry Core that I showed you. And then there's another one that's, again, one of those, you can click on the little shopping thing. But there's a subfloor on Amazon. And then you have the cork underlayment sheets. So which way would you go? Because those don't look like the same thing to me.
Yeah.
Which way would you rather go in terms of insulating your floor?
Well, so that subfloor, that Dry Core stuff is really cool. Basically what it is it's a dense foam.
Okay.
And so I would go especially for a home gym. It looks like that has like a very high strength rating as far as like the weight that it's rated for. I would put like, especially if you got,
he's talking about me. He's like, because he's talking about all the different jobs I've had.
Yeah, that's true. Especially if you have like a concrete floor, I feel like that would be the stuff to go with, because you can put that like it's like 3/4 inch or whatever, and it all locks together. And then you can put that on the concrete. It's got the little raised bumps to get airflow underneath there, so you don't get mold, which is something that happens with concrete sometimes.
Right.
If you don't get airflow or if you don't seal it, because the concrete will wick moisture from underneath if you don't seal that concrete.
Yeah.
So you put that foam and then put like your 3/4 inch stall mats or whatever on top of that. That's actually going to protect. If you put that foam insulation, not only is going to like make your feet warm when you're lifting, but it's also going to protect your floor if you're deadlifting or anything like that, dropping heavy weights. Even concrete's strong, but the impact on one spot can damage your concrete as well. It chips the surface and stuff. So if you have that 3/4 inch foam plus 3/4 inch rubber stall mats or something, man, you're going to have like a bulletproof floor as far as impact resistance as well, which is really nice. But for a framed floor like what I have, and this is one of the benefits of building it yourself versus just buying something, is it's a lot easier to insulate the floor before you build the rest of the shed. So you build the floor first, and then before you cover it with your subfloor, you can actually put insulation in there. And that's one of the steps in my building plans I have on the website. Is like,
so this is what you're talking about, like the underlayment or whatever?
Actually, what you want to do is in between the floor joists of a framed floor, the best thing to do is to use like the pink foam core boards. It's like 2 inches thick. And use those and just cut them so they're tight, and then seal those with like spray foam in the can or with some kind of tape or whatever. And put those in your subfloor, and that actually is going to provide a lot of insulation. What I used, and it's okay. I went a little bit cheap on the floor insulation, but you can get this radiant barrier stuff. That's like basically the silver bubble wrap. I don't know if you've seen that stuff. Yeah, it's like a tinfoil coated like bubble wrap basically. And what that does is, instead of like creating an air gap, which is how most insulation works, that actually just reflects heat back. So I actually have that in my subfloor that like reflects the heat back up. It creates an air gap and reflects the heat. That's the stuff.
That's it right there. Yeah, okay. You can get it from a Home Depot, it looks like.
Yep.
They probably have it at Lowe's too. This is Home Depot is just what popped up. Okay.
So that's another option that you can use to insulate your floor. And the nice thing is you can do that. Like you can put the foam or whatever in a shed floor after you buy it. But what you're probably going to have to do is you're going to have to get underneath that shed and get up there and put that insulation up in the floor. And it's just a lot harder to do that after you've got it in place. You may actually have to even like jack it up and put blocks under it to get under there and insulate it, which is doable. It's just, you got to be safe and smart doing that.
Oh, heck yeah. So while, we've had a lot of topics, so it's obvious that you know what you're talking about. You've been doing this shed gym thing for quite some time, and you got a lot of videos. You've mentioned some of the videos, like how you put in your DIY mini split installation. What do you have coming up on the YouTube channel? You said you have some videos that you've been shooting. So go ahead, give us a teaser about what's coming out that we should, give people a reason to subscribe.
Yeah, I've got a lot more like home gym shed content coming up on the YouTube channel. I was just filming a video on what tools you need to build a home gym shed. So you can actually build the entire thing with only 10 tools, believe it or not. So I have a video coming up on that, the 10 tools, the basics, the fundamentals that you need, plus a few more that you're going to convince your wife that you need, because that's the whole point of doing a DIY project is to buy more tools. And then I've also got a comparison of like buying versus building, the pros and cons of both, and cost comparison. And then hopefully this summer, I plan to actually do a full build to show you guys step by step the process of building a shed, start to finish, and do like a whole time lapse and all the fun stuff that we love to watch on YouTube. So I've got lots of YouTube content coming up about the home gym sheds, doing a little bit more like home fitness for dads as well, and sprinkling some of that stuff in. So hopefully that helps people as well.
Oh, heck yeah, man. I mean, the thing I like about your channel is you've got not just the how to build it, but you also give like kind of show yourself using it Like it's like a, hey, I'm not telling you to do something I'm not doing myself. And I think that we have a little bit too much of the do as I say, not as I do in the home gym community. So I
There's
really
a lot of
appreciate
that,
what you're doing. Yeah. And I guess in fitness in general, but I do like that about your channel.
I mean,
so,
I'm a fitness coach too. I coach dads, and I have a fitness program. So nobody wants a fat fitness coach. So I got to stay up on my own work.
there you go. Well, go ahead and tell everybody. You already mentioned YouTube, so talk about how can people get in touch with you. You can go ahead and mention all your other platforms, and I'll try to. I'm sending the stuff at the bottom. Obviously, I want people to go to backyardshredz.com because that's where they can buy the stuff from you. That's where they can get the hoodie that everybody's talking about, and I've seen people say stuff about your hat that they want the hat. So the link, go ahead, go to backyardshredz.com. But go ahead, Cody, and let everybody know where they can, get in touch with you, sign up for newsletters, all that stuff.
Yeah, man. Actually, a newsletter is one of the things we're working on getting going this year as well. Basically, it's going to be like tours of other people's home gym sheds. So you have some inspiration for how you can set up your own home gym shed. Backyardshredz.com. We've got the building plans over there, everything you need to build and even to just plan your project of building a home gym shed. If you're doing some research, it's a great resource to have. We've got all the merch and stuff like that. People love the camo hats and the hoodies and the shirts and stuff like that with kind of a thought-provoking conversation starter type of resources and shirts. Got the gym flags, all that kind of stuff. Also, YouTube channel, Backyard. It's just at Backyard Shredz on the YouTube, and it's Shredz with an S, by the way. At Backyard Shredz, no worries. At Backyard Shredz, and then all the other socials like Instagram, Facebook. I'm on those as well at Backyard Shredz. And LinkedIn, actually, I'm super active on LinkedIn. I love that platform. I don't know why. I just love LinkedIn. I post there.
I can verify that. Cody will ghost you on other platforms, but I
will. I'm terrible.
I reached out to him on LinkedIn. He's like, oh, yeah, man. You're like right away. I was like, dang, okay, let's go.
I do a lot on LinkedIn. So I'm over there. If you're like on the LinkedIn train, like go hit me up. It's at the Cody Lutz or at Backyard Shredz. Both of those, you'll find me.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll add your LinkedIn as well to the show description so people can check it out because I want people to get in touch with you. I think that you're an awesome resource, and I appreciate you coming on the show so often. For those of you who don't know, Cody and I agreed that he would come on basically at the turn of every season to kind of help you out with getting your shed ready for that season. So he comes on the beginning of fall to help you get your shed ready for fall. Comes on when winter's starting to help you have your shed ready for winter, and so on and so forth. So we'll expect him back when it's spring. He's going to give us some tips for spring when everything starts melting and you got to worry about mud everywhere and flooding and all kinds of other stuff. So this is an ongoing thing, and you guys can help me out. Let Cody know that it is worth his time by going ahead and following him on Instagram. Check out his YouTube, subscribe to it, and make sure that you let him know. Comment on his YouTube videos and let him know that you found out about him by watching this show. And so we can keep on getting him back on here.
Hey, you're one of the best, John. It's always a pleasure whenever I get to hang out with you, man. I love what you're doing.
I appreciate you, brother. All right. You have a good day, dude. Later. And that was my guy, Cody from Backyard Shredz. You guys definitely want to check out his YouTube channel. As I said, the links to all that stuff is in the description for this video. So if you are listening on Podbean, the link is in the show notes. But yeah, definitely, it is definitely worth the watch. Shout out to everybody who's watching right now, though. Views are a little bit lower today than they normally are, but I appreciate each and every one of you who is watching. Do me a favor and share this link out to people and let them so that people know that this is a helpful resource, because that is actually how the show that's how the show grows. You know, we get our views and all that other kind of stuff because you guys share the link. So go ahead and please share that link out, let everybody know what we're doing over here, because we're trying to do something that's a little bit different and special for you guys. Okay. All right. So now it is 8:03 and it is now time to give a shout out to the Mountain Time Zone. Thank you guys for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. And I think that this is one of the best ways for you to start your weekend, get your Friday started off the right way with fitness content that relates to having a home gym, setting up a home gym, and you also get to talk to a lot of cool people in the live chat. And then whenever we bring a brand on, you guys get to hear from the brand directly. You get to interact with them instead of just speculating. You can ask them your questions directly. So appreciate you guys being here. Do me a favor, as I said, hit the like button if this is your first time. Hit the like button and hit subscribe so that we can continue to grow. Now, let's see here. We're going to go ahead and jump back into, we have one final news item, and that is my weekly reminder that you guys need to check out HomeGymCon, okay? If you are not signed up for HomeGymCon, this is something that is going to be one of the best ways for you to check out home gym equipment. You get to try it before you buy it. It makes no sense. I do not understand. I've had a home gym for over 20 years. If something like HomeGymCon existed back when I started my home gym in 2001, maybe I wouldn't have gone in 2001, but I definitely would have gone by 2005, 2006, because it makes no sense to me to spend as much money as we spend on home gym equipment and have no idea if this thing is going to work for you, if it's going to fit you, if you're going to like the way it operates, and I don't know, for lack of a better phrase, handles, because you've never touched it. You've only seen it online. All right. And HomeGymCon is your opportunity to do just that. You get to hang out with cool people who are in the home gym community, build connections with people who actually understand why you're such a big fan of training at home. You know how you try to talk to your friends and family about having a home gym and their eyes kind of like glaze over because they're not interested. They kind of give you like the empty, yeah, I'm sure that's great. Or they try to convince you to just join their gym wherever they actually work out. All right, well, that's not gonna at HomeGymCon. You're gonna find some instant friends because everybody there gets why you are there. They get why you're so passionate about home gyms. The link to sign up for HomeGymCon is in the description for this video. And if you guys have already signed up, you want to make sure that you subscribe to the HomeGymCon newsletter on Beehive so that you can get all the updates. So that's homegymcon.beehive.com. I'm subscribed to that newsletter, and as the updates come out, it lets you know about it. I can tell you that the tickets right now for both days is $77.99. And in fact, let me go ahead and pull that up so you guys can see that. I'm going to continue to give you guys the most up-to-date information I have as it's available. So you actually go to GarageGymExperiment.com, and that's going to be the link to buy tickets for the 2025 HomeGymCon in Louisville. And I said you can get in there for $77.99 for both days, or if you just want to go to one day, then it's $38.99 for the Friday or Saturday Expo. Either one, it's a good time. And then there's a ton of stuff to do in Louisville every day. You know, there's places to go eat. There's a lot of cool stuff to do. You've got the opportunity to get hotels so that you can just stay in the exact same hotel. That's what we're doing. We're going to stay in the hotel that's actually hosting the event. So you don't have to do a bunch of like navigating or whatever, but you got a ton of options out there. So once again, I encourage you guys to go to HomeGymCon. And if you are attending HomeGymCon, go ahead and start planning to be at our live show. We are going to be at HomeGymCon that Friday morning. We're going to be doing this show live from HomeGymCon. So it's going to be essentially the same. It's going to be essentially the same as the show that you're watching now, except it's going to be live right there in front of you guys. So I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of you guys in person. I've already met some of you guys. I met Rory at HomeGymCon, which is crazy because he doesn't live far from my dad in Nashville. But we both had to be in French Lick, Indiana at HomeGymCon in order to actually meet each other. Same thing with Carp. Carp lives not far from my dad, and yet we didn't meet until we met each other at HomeGymCon. I met Jared at HomeGymCon, Eric Echoes, all these guys who are in the chat. I met them in person at HomeGymCon, and it began what I consider to be friendships, okay? Not just business relationships, but friendships. And so I just think it's one of the coolest things that you could ever do. So you guys make sure you go to HomeGymCon. And Cody said he'll be there. Cody Lutz, the man himself, if that's not enough to get you to go to HomeGymCon, I really don't know what to tell you. But Cody is going to be at HomeGymCon this year, and I think that's awesome. So you guys can go there and talk about the motorcycle in his backyard. The motorcycle in his shed, all that kind of stuff. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Shout out to Garage Gym Radio. What's up, man? He said he drove to Louisville yesterday. He said this is going to be the best HomeGymCon yet. Man, I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to do things a little bit differently than we did last year. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for this year's HomeGymCon. Joey, yup, that's right. I ate dinner right next to Joey Echeverria. I'm telling you, this is real. Okay, I know. Not only do I know Joey, I ate dinner right next to him at HomeGymCon. Okay, and I'm looking forward to doing that again. So yeah, man, but yeah, we are going to have the show live in front of a studio audience. I was talking to Jared earlier yesterday, actually. We were talking about some of the stuff that we want to do if we're able to make the live event happen. So as we start getting closer to the date, we're going to go ahead and get the sign-up list going so I know everybody who's going to be there. That way we know if we're, how much stuff to order, because whether y'all are there or not, I'm having my show live because I don't miss, every Friday the show goes on, right? But as far as having the giveaways and all the other kind of cool stuff I want to do with you guys, we'll find that out by, we'll have to kind of gauge whether we should do all of that simply by having the sign-up list. And so you guys keep an eye out for that. Cody said he may be there as a vendor. Okay. Stay tuned. Rory said that HomeGymCon is like that awkward first date with a girl you met online, only it's not awkward. Okay. Yeah, you're not gonna get catfished. He said he met his wife in high school before the internet was cool. Yeah, you're not gonna get catfished at HomeGymCon. All right. Let's see here. So anyway, if you got people who are on the fence, like, why should I go to this? If you got a home gym and you don't go to HomeGymCon, you're missing out. That's all I can tell you. All right. So there is that. So like I said, the link to get your tickets is in the description for the video. Make sure you get your hotel room because I don't want you to have to sleep outside, and we'll keep on rolling with that. All right. Now let's go ahead and pay some bills real quick. If you are looking for a high quality weighted vest, be sure to check out ion.com. I think that these are the best weighted vests on the market. The beauty of it is that it's not necessarily what I would use if I'm going to go rucking, but I think they're a great weight vest to wear while you're doing something that you were going to do anyway. So go ahead and check out Ion. All right, so make sure that you guys are using the promo code GarageGymLife at checkout when you go to ion.com so that you can save 10% and support this channel. All right, now let's go ahead and dive into our next segment, and that is React and Respond. So basically what we do with React and Respond is I show you stuff from the internet, and if it's a video, we watch it. If it's just a photo or article, then we look at it and we go ahead and we talk about what our raw reactions are to it. So let's start with the most ridiculous. I saw this on Instagram maybe 3 weeks ago. And I was like, seriously? So let's go ahead and let's throw it up here. So this is the screenshot of it. Yeah, seriously. Okay. All right. So if anybody is related to any of the people in this picture, hey, no offense to your family, okay? I'm not trying to knock anybody's hustle, not trying to count anybody's pocket. However, I've got to say, this is the kind of foolishness that appears every single year on the internet. Again, if you've used this kind of workout and you've made gains, please feel free to comment and tell me how wrong I am. But who in the world believes that any of these people got in this kind of shape with just 7 minutes a day of chair workouts. Keeping in mind that I used to work at a public gym and they had a chair aerobics class. I promise you, none of the people in that chair aerobics class looked anything like any of the people that you guys are seeing on the screen, okay? In 1 week, you'll feel it. In 2 weeks, you'll see it. In 2025, you'll have a toned body. Are you kidding me? No equipment needed. Beginner friendly. Yeah, it is beginner friendly. All you need is a chair. Come on, man. Just come on. That's my reaction. But look, again, if you guys see this and you believe it, feel free. Put a comment in there and let me know if you think I am completely wrong, I'm way off base, that this Muscle Booster _ app is the best thing, and that chair workouts are the wave of the future. Please, by all means, feel free to tell me how wrong I am. But all I'm saying is that this is the kind of ridiculousness that I expect to see every year on the internet, because that is the dumbest thing. I just think this is just stupid. Okay? Yeah. That's my first reaction. Y'all go ahead. Feel free to comment. I just think that's dumb. All right. No, that's not. Is that the beat I sent you? No, that's not the beat I sent you. Oh, your chairs at HomeGymCon. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Yes. If they're going to be at HomeGymCon doing their chair workouts, that's what I ought to do. I ought to put them in touch with Jake so they can be at HomeGymCon doing their chair workout. There you go. I think that's the solution right there. Oh, Cody's jumping on. He says, I'm going to start selling backyard Shredz fitness chairs. There you go. All right. Rory said, don't doubt the benefits of sitter size. Sitter size, man. Really? I'm so very sad at you for that. He said, I did it with all my patients when I practiced physical therapy. They all got jacked and didn't break a single hip. Okay. Hey, look, I'm ready to be wrong. I'm comfortable with being wrong. Okay, sure. Yeah, I'm sure that it's great. And you'll come out of there, you walk in bald-headed like me, you'll come out jacked and with dreads just like that. Just like these dudes. You'll walk out with dreads just like that, happy, smiling. It comes white pants not included. I will say that. Yeah. Get you. Rory said the next Roman strength product is a knurled chair. There you go, Carlos. Now he's speaking your language. Get you some knurled chairs for your workout. Yes, that is the vest. Yeah. The Ion vest, that is the vest. Like I said, you're not supposed to, it's not the point of the workout. So you can't, one thing I'll say about them is if you are somebody who's already a trained, like you've been lifting for a while, don't expect to put that vest on and be like, oh, wow, this is a workout. No, instead, it's like putting on additional weight because it's going to become part of your body. And then you just do what you were already going to do. And you just find that you've raised the metabolic cost of what so you're washing dishes with the vest on. Well, it's going to raise the metabolic cost of washing dishes, just for example. Okay. So that's why I like it. So that's that. Let's move on from the dang chair aerobics people. All right. So what I want to know from you guys is, do you like watching, has the time passed for reaction videos? Because I remember when reaction videos used to be, not reaction videos, workout videos used to be the thing, right? And I personally think that there are a lot of benefits to watching videos like that. So this is a video of Marissa Enda. It's from the Juggernaut Training Systems website. I'm sorry, Juggernaut Systems YouTube channel. So basically, she's just talking. Obviously, I got the sound off, but it takes you step by step with explanations through her deficit deadlift and her glute training, right? So she's showing like what she uses, like how she's using the app to make adjustments, and she's showing like how she sets up the deadlift platform to do deficit deads, things like that. This was really, and there's Chad Wesley Smith, everybody's favorite jiu-jitsu guy and home gym owner. And I think that the beauty of these videos is you can put them on and you can learn stuff while watching, right? So you're not going to just be entertained. It's edutainment. So it's not just entertaining you and keeping you occupied, but it's a good way to me, in my opinion, it's a good way to learn. Especially, let's say let's say you're somebody who like follows Juggernaut training, right? Maybe you don't have Juggernaut AI, although that is an option. But let's say you just got the Juggernaut, one of the Juggernaut books, right? And you're wondering, you have questions about how to do something. Well, you can go and you check out Marissa's training videos and see specifically how she sets stuff up to be able to do whatever movement they're talking about, right? I just think it's a great way to learn. That being said, I am not going to watch. This is not something I'm going to watch on the treadmill, because to me, it's not interesting enough to watch on the treadmill. There's not enough explosions for me, right? Not nearly enough explosions. But you see how she's explaining how she sets this up. You see, like, there's some interaction between she and Chad Wesley Smith. I just think it's a great way to learn stuff. And I prefer kind of like we used to watch, me and my kids used to watch Pumping Iron, have that on in the background while we were lifting. We had like the animal cage video. We'd have that on in the background while we were lifting. I like watching stuff like this when I'm lifting. If I'm not watching the YouTube content creator video, then I'll have something like this on. So what do you guys think? Do you guys like watching? I know some of y'all just like having music on, but do you guys like watching videos like this, like the training breakdown videos? Go ahead, put a comment in there. Let me know if you guys are into this kind of content. Joey said he saw it. So you did see that. So first of all, what did you think of the video? Was it helpful? Not just was it entertaining, but also was it helpful when you watched it? So I'm interested in knowing the answer to that. And then for everybody else who may not have seen it, did you watch it? Did you not watch it? Like, did you know about it and just decide not to watch it because you weren't interested? Or did you not know about it and that's why you didn't watch it? Because I'm looking at it. It says this is interesting. So it's got 13,000 views. But just because something has 13,000 views doesn't mean everybody saw it. That's the thing that people have to remember with YouTube. It's completely possible with how many people use the YouTube platform for something to have a million views, but you've never seen it because it never went across your feed or just whatever, right? Depending on what it is that YouTube thinks you're interested in watching. All right, so Joey said it was a good one. He said there's solid tips on picking accessories that complement your compound lifts. Nice. I'm a big fan of Marissa in this training. In general, I think that she's built herself into a very well-rounded athlete, and she's maintained that for a long time. It's very easy to see sometimes people they'll skyrocket up and like be big on social media, or just be getting a lot of accolades, and then they just vanish and you never hear from them again. I'm a lot more impressed by people who have staying power in terms of lifting. So unlike the chair aerobics, thing that we saw before, this is to me a legitimate way to train, and it's also a legitimate way to learn how to improve and maximize your training. So I'm a big fan of that. And we got 448 of you guys watching right now. Go ahead, do me a favor. I'm gonna ask you again. Hit the like button and hit subscribe if you haven't already. I got a goal. I'm trying to get to that goal, so I can't do it without you. So do me a favor, click that like button and hit subscribe for me. All right. Okay, so Boo said it's not my thing. So watching videos like that is not your thing. All right. Now I know that you liked the cage video. I know that you like watching Pump and Iron. And you and I both watched. God, what was it? Was it Dexter? It was Blade 2K, right? I think it was Dexter Jackson's video. And we were both like, it's kind of boring if you're watching it for entertainment, but if you're watching it like to learn, like, oh, this is how a bodybuilder orders their day, then it actually becomes interesting all of a sudden, because now you're watching and learning. You know what I mean? So that's why I said I couldn't watch something like this on the treadmill. It'd be too boring. But I could definitely watch it either while I'm in the gym or out, or if I'm outside the gym and I just see it, I'm like, oh, and I remember to do that the next time I'm in the gym doing this, for example. So like the next time I do deficit deadlifts, I'm probably gonna use some of the tips from her video. Carlos said, I'd much rather watch it before or after a workout. I'll put on some action or some anime in the background while I'm actually lifting. I can see that. I can see that. Something that you don't actually have to pay attention to the entire time. That makes sense. Because sometimes I catch myself, like when you're lifting, when I'm under the bar, the outside world has to go away while I'm under the bar. I'm able to snap back in as soon as I rack the weight. But, it's easy for you to miss stuff because of that. So, and if you're somebody that tends to not be able to concentrate, then you probably don't need to have anything on that requires a lot of concentration, because you'll get distracted and hurt yourself. So we don't want that. But I'm just curious. You guys keep on letting me know what your reaction to this kind of stuff is. Like, keep on putting your like how you feel about, like the training breakdown videos. I really am curious about it. Now let's move on to the next item. I have a little wager with myself to see which one to see this. All right. So what about this? All right. Are multi-room home gyms a thing? And when I say multi-room home gym, I mean literally just that. So your gym occupies the garage, and then it also is in like another room off of the garage, and then in another, or maybe it's in the basement, and your basement is divided into different rooms, and each one of those rooms has home gym stuff in it, right? So I'm going to show this. This is from Matthew Cummins. So let me go ahead and share the screen so you guys can see this video from Matthew. So this is his 4-year home gym build. It's funny because he says my 4-year home gym build is finally done. And I just think that's funny because we all know a home gym is never complete, right? As soon as you think it's done, you'll find something else that you want. But I can understand why he said it, because he said it's got 20 machines across 4 rooms. So reading the description, he says, after 4 years of collecting gym equipment, I can finally say the home gym project is done. And he said, if there are any of the machines you see that you want to review on, just you can put a comment and let him know. And that's will help him in terms of doing reviews going forward. And he also wants to know if you think that there's anything that he should add or change, which I guess by definition would mean that his home gym build is not done. So we'll do a quick clip of it. I'm not going to play the entire video. I want you guys to go to Matthew's YouTube to be able to see it. And I will have the description, the link for you guys to watch this video in the description for my video. Okay. But here, so you guys can see he's going into this room here. At least I think he is. Okay. Yeah. All right. So this is one room. All right, got like a bunch of equipment in there. Then he's got his gym is called the Jungle Juice Barbell Club, which is funny to me. He's got he's got like the banners on the walls, different things like that. Got the little floor fan. All right, and he's panning very slowly around the room, so that's why I'm skipping around. You guys can see he's got that. Then there's another room right here. He's got even more equipment in this other room. Then you go into the garage. He's got stuff in the garage, and that may be one reason why he's got it in multiple rooms, because he wants to still be able to park his car in the garage. Let's see here. Let's get another angle of the garage. Okay. So let's go ahead and stop sharing that. So you guys tell me, what do you guys think about having a multi-room home gym? And I have something, my reaction is, this is something that's more of an option for families who bought a home with small kids. So like you say, okay, well, we want to make sure, let's say you got 4 kids and you want 2 bedrooms so that the kids are, so like that's what happened with us. We had 4 boys when we bought the house that we live in now. So we had our bedroom, a guest room, and then we had a bedroom for each that the kids shared, right? So our room, a guest room, bedroom for 2 boys, another bedroom for 2 more boys, right? Well, when they grew up and moved out, we repurposed those rooms. And had those rooms been downstairs, then it would have been an option for us to use those rooms potentially as home gym space, or maybe even office space. And it may still happen, like when our daughter eventually heads off to college, moves out or something like that, then we're going to repurpose her bedroom into something else. So I think that's probably the biggest reason to have a home gym that goes across multiple rooms. Assuming you don't plan on having your kids come back to visit you and stay with you at any time. They're out and they're not coming back. So if you got to set up like that, okay. But I also think, as you guys could see in Matthew's video, he had a lot of individual plate-loaded equipment, right? And I think that having a multi-room setup like that lends itself well to having individual pieces of equipment, like individual selectorized pieces. Like Belza still has, hang on a second here. They've got this thing, I forgot what they call it. I literally forgot what they call it. I may be reading too much into it, but it may be, I thought they had this thing on Instagram, but I might need to go to Belza Steel website to find it, because what is this thing called? All right, so let's go to new products. Oh, that's different. What is this thing called? And now, of course, I can't find it. Okay, it was like a hip thrust kind of machine, right? So yeah, it's like they got a hip thrust machine. So I'm not gonna get a hip thrust machine for my home gym because there's no room for it. But if I got a home gym that's across multiple rooms, then I'm more inclined to have, like, okay, well, in this room we've got nothing but leg training stuff, right? Maybe I do squats in the garage, and then when I want to do like hip thrusts, or my wife wants to do hip thrusts or something, she can go in there, and then she can have her leg extension, leg curl in there. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So Rory said, I love the idea. I actually have a multi-room home gym myself. The detached garage is the main one, but I also have 8 chairs in my dining room for center side. Okay. All right. There you go. Okay. Brian said, I guess that's what I have, wouldn't you? Yeah. I mean, you've got like so everything's, from what I remember, your stuff is all outside, but you do have sections for everything. So you got some stuff that's actually out in the backyard. Then you got the other stuff that's under the roof. So yeah, you kind of like have like that. But I'm thinking more like so there's a guy on Instagram who I follow. Golly, what's his name? He's fighting. He's actually fighting cancer right now, and so shout out to him. But he's got he's got a multi-room home gym, and so you'll see the stuff in there. He's got it like spread out across. He has like power lifters who come over to train with him, and the stuff is like, in one room he's got like all the accessory stuff. In another room he's got all of the what you call the stuff for your main lift. And then like, so you go in another room and do like your leg, like the leg press. Another room you got like, you can do like your dips, and there's a dip station and things like that. Kind of like the setup that when I was training with Steve Goggins, that's how his home gym was set up. He had like all the stuff for the monolift and all that stuff was in the combination bench were all in one room, and then you go in a different room, and it looked like a whole bunch of body solid stuff, a lot of like selectorized equipment, stuff you would find in a commercial gym, and that was all in there. That was all in that room. So I'm thinking stuff like that. Boo said he does have a nice setup. Oh, yeah, that's actually another example. Jared says I kind of have a multi-room basement gym. He says I have the main stuff in one room, then a lat row and the bells of steel reverse hammer in the main basement area. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's just we always think about when I see these when I see reviews about piece of equipment like I said, like the bells of steel hip thrust or any kind of piece of equipment that's like really specific to one. So like the Rogue Rhino, for example, anything that's kind of specific to one thing that takes up a lot of room. A lot of times I hear people say, oh, well, there's not enough room to have this in a home gym or in your garage gym. And I always come back to, yes, maybe, depending on your set. Like so many things, it depends on your setup. So if you've got a setup like mine where everything's in pretty much one room, then you got to be very discerning about what you want to have in there. But if you've got multiple spaces, then you can kind of say, okay, well, this could go in here or this could go in here or whatever. Joey said, I'd rather have a big open space if possible, but I know some people like Keith that have had to expand. Let's see what else. And Roy said, on a serious note, the guy I keep posting videos of who has the megalith handles and the Voltras has two separate gym setups. So one is in the house and one's in the garage for designated lever arm stuff. Yeah, I can see that. He said the garage also has his conditioning equipment. I've seen setups like that too. That's when we at one time had our home gym before my wife started working from home. The space that her office is in was actually part of our gym. So we divided up into weights on one side and cardio stuff on the other. And in fact, we still store a fair amount of cardio stuff over there. We just have to wheel it into the garage to use it. And then when we're done with it, we wheel it back out to where we store it. So I've seen that a fair amount of times too. I also think that this is a good option if you have a training business at your house and you want to train multiple clients at the same time. So I know it sounds like it doesn't make sense. Like, why would somebody pay you to train them, but you're not actually with them? And it's because, let's say you have a more advanced client, they can be doing something in one room while you're with more of an entry-level client in another room, right? And you just go back and forth. Like the best example. So when I was a personal trainer, my first couple of years out of college, I had some clients that I had to like stand over, right? And like, okay, like they wanted me to basically be a professional repetition counter. I didn't particularly enjoy that. If you can't count to 12 on your own, you don't need, you got more bigger problems than I can help you with. But I was there more to give some people, I was there more to say, like, give them a tip, say, hey, make sure that you shoulders down and back or something, depending on what they're doing, right? Make sure you stay up tall if you're doing that stationary lunge or split squat, whatever you want to call it. That kind of thing, don't lean over. So somebody like that, you kind of just can keep an eye on them. Now, I wouldn't like just abandon them, but I can basically just kind of give them tips and pointers and say, okay, I want you to go do this. And then, so they don't need me hovering over them. So in that situation, if you've got clients who've been working with you for a long time, then this kind of setup could work because, again, you've got options. And also, let's say somebody is using, so like you mentioned that this guy, Rory, has his conditioning equipment in a different room, right? Well, the vibe for that might be different than the vibe in the for the lifting. So if I got somebody who's like on the treadmill and they're just, maybe they got the game on or something and they're running, watching the game. Okay. Well, they got it up loud. And then I'm in the other room with somebody and we're bench pressing. Okay. Well, they may want to have music on at certain times. The music goes on and then we cut it off when the next person is getting ready for their lift. That may not make sense to you guys, but if you ever train with a powerlifting team, sometimes it's like that. They'll be like, okay, the music gets turned down so the coach can talk to the person who's about to lift. And then the music gets turned up to kind of like help them out with getting in the zone. Yeah. Well, if I'm on the treadmill, I don't want the music just going up and down like that, like a sine wave or something, right? So that's going to be annoying. I'd rather just kind of want to like just zone out. Especially some runners like to run at a specific pace. And so they kind of like try to get in the rhythm, have stuff that helps them maintain a certain pace, not losing step or whatever. And so the music can interfere with that. So like I said, or let's even talk about like I told you my wife is doing the review of the Bells of Steel indoor cycle. And she's doing a number of training videos as part of these free YouTube spin class training videos, and while she's testing the bike out. Well, there's obviously talking with that, right? So if I'm lifting, I don't necessarily want to listen to her spin class. I don't want to imagine that I'm going up a mountain stream or what, up a mountain with a stream next to it. All right, because I'm lifting. So that's what I'm saying is like that there are cases where it makes sense to me to have stuff separated like that. All right. Next thing. Let's see if I can pull this up here. You guys go ahead and keep on commenting. If you're watching on replay, go ahead and drop your comments to react to all the stuff that we're talking about. Like I said, I'm going to have the links for all this stuff in the video description so you guys can go ahead and watch it. And if you're if you're listening on Podbean, just go to YouTube and check out this video. And then you'll see all the links to all these different videos for you to check them out. All right. So next item. This one is very, very interesting to me. Got to back up a little bit. Okay. So what do we think for those of you who have a garage gym, specifically a garage gym? I want to hear from y'all. I'm not saying that if you got a basement gym, this doesn't apply, but I think that there's some limitations with a basement gym because of ceiling height. So this may not be something that you guys do. And that is, get rid of that. That is, what do you guys think about, or how many of you guys are using over the garage door storage? So Jake, for example, if you're still watching, do you have any of that over the door garage door storage stuff? So here's an example. It's from the Ceiling Sam YouTube channel. And he's showing some Tote Slide Pro garage ceiling storage rails so you can put bins up, right? This is a very short video, so you guys can check it out. So you see that you can go up there, slide your storage totes, and it's right over the garage door, right? That looks like a prime spot for Christmas ornaments and other stuff that you really don't know where to put in the house. Okay. So I have some questions. Oh, Eric says he has that. So I got questions and you can probably answer them, right? So Eric says, I have stuff over both of my garage stalls. All right. So I think that looks like a solid space-saving solution. But it obviously takes away from total ceiling height. So if you have a garage gym, how does that affect you when you're trying to bring stuff into the garage? So I was telling you guys earlier that my wife had to help this guy bring a piece of equipment into the garage. She opened a garage door and they brought it in. And I would think that maybe this wouldn't impact it simply because it doesn't change the height of the garage door when it's open. But I don't know because I've only seen one of these in like real life. Um, but it looked intriguing to me. I said, oh, that looks kind of cool because you're using a space that currently is just empty. It's just empty space, right? So that's why I have questions about it, like how. And another one is, how annoying is it to get stuff down if you need it? So Eric says, he agrees. He said, I have my Christmas and seasonal stuff up there. That's so like right now we have our Christmas stuff up at the attic. And it's not really it's not super annoying to go up there to get it, but it ain't the most convenient thing either. So I'm just curious, like how much of a pain was it to set that up? And now that you've got it set up, how easy is it to get stuff down if you happen to need it? So say it is adjustable height. Okay, there you go. That's what I was wondering. So it's adjustable height, so we made it as tight to the door as possible. Joey says if it's all above the door, I don't think you'd lose usable space. So it's above the door, but then you got to like Eric was saying, it's adjustable height. So you got to make sure that you still have clearance for the door to open and close, right? And then how far past the door does it protrude? Because I'm thinking about, so I've got lighting in the ceiling, and two of those lights we can't see when the garage door is open, right? We can only see those lights when the door is closed. So if we were to put storage above the garage door, then we pretty much are going to lose those lights completely, right? But it may be worth it because of for the sake of the storage, because some of the stuff that we would store up there is currently outside in that little extra area by my wife's office. So, I'll just tell you. So some of it is like extra J hooks in case we have so we have 3x3 J hooks, 2x2 J hooks, and 2x3 J hooks, because when we were reviewing power racks, some of them were coming and they were different sizes, and the J hooks that came with them weren't always the best. And so I just went ahead and I bought different kinds of J hooks that would fit different size power rack uprights. So now I just have them in case I end up needing them, right? So stuff like that I don't need all the time, but I don't want to have to buy it again, right? So stuff like that is what I'm thinking about putting above the garage door if we're able to get it installed. And I'm just trying to see how much of a pain it would be. Some of our live stream stuff. He's out. All right. Hey, man, I love you, man. I appreciate you tuning in, bro. I'll call you later. Joey said getting the bin all the way at the end would be the most annoying. Heck, yeah. Because you know what you're looking for is inevitably going to be in the bin that's the furthest away from you. So you always have to like slide them all out. And you're just mad the whole time. Eric says, I'm tall enough that I could just stand on a folding chair to get stuff down. Jameson Dorset, what's up, my man? Said, it depends on what you're storing. We're more likely to use things that are within reach without an A-frame. Yeah, I can see that. Home Gym Vizi said the box closest to the garage door that's placed on first. To get that box down only, a person would need to remove all other boxes in front first. That sounds like that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's inevitable. It's inevitable that whatever you're looking for is going to be in the box that's the furthest. It's going to have all the other boxes in front of it. That would just drive me bananas, and I would just be there just mad. And I try not to set myself up for failure. Joey said if I could, doing a side opener and raised door so I'd have more height with the door open would be awesome. Yeah. Oh, a side opening door and a raised door. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. This is the kind of stuff that I think just doesn't get talked about enough. Because I see, like, one of the things people talk about with having a garage gym is to like, well, you're giving up. I got all this stuff I store in the garage. And Jason, man who parks in gym, I was listening to the Home Gym chat, the Home Gym podcast with he and Mark. Shout out to Flex Marks the Spot. We're trying to get the them on the show. But anyway, one of the things he said is he ended up having like store a lawnmower. He had to store a lawnmower, and he didn't really have a lot of options for where to put it because he's got an HOA. So while I don't have an HOA and I never will, because I'm about to have somebody tell me what to do with my ceiling tiles or whatever. Still, the principle remains that one of the biggest objections people have to setting up a garage gym is that they're going to lose storage space. So to me, this sounds like a good way to be able to get your training space set up and still have access, still be able to store your stuff. You know what I mean? Home Gym Physique. Yeah. Hey, there you go, man. Hey, you yelled at him and the number of viewers went up. He said there are 382 viewers, only 182 likes. Like the stream, everyone. Yes, man, please. It always baffles me. Well, it doesn't baffle me. That's not true. I understand why people don't do it, but I'm asking you to do it. So I'll use Dr. Michael Brantley. He was I think he's already left for work, but he was on earlier. I had no idea that he's been watching the show because he had never put a comment in the live chat. I don't know if he's ever clicked the like button on the show, but I happened to see him tag me on Instagram and my video was playing in the background, right? That's how I found out he watches the show. So there are a lot of people who watch the show and the way they watch it kind of like discourages them, I guess, from clicking like. Because if you're watching on your TV, it's not easy, unless you just know how to do it. It's not easy to see how to click like. So for those of you who are watching on the TV, what you got to do is take your remote. You want to press the up button. You'll see like the little directional arrow. Press the up button and you'll see some options there. Once you press the up button, you see that one of the options is the thumbs up. Press up and you press the side arrow, and then you'll be able to click, and then you just click on it, and you'll be able to click on like the thumbs up. And that's what I'm asking you to do. It really makes a difference. Home Gym Physique scared them, so now it jumped up to, well, here's 457 viewers. Now we got 536. Please go ahead and click the like button. Help me out. Jamin said, in general, storage means rarely used. Decluttering is better than storage. Well, yeah, but so if you guys saw my most recent video where I was talking about decluttering our home gym, I'm a fan of decluttering, but seasonal stuff includes Christmas trees. So we get the Christmas trees in the attic right now. Would it be more convenient if it was in the garage? I mean, probably not if it was in the setup like that, because it's always going to end up in the back tote, or the back crate. But there's stuff like that. In fact, here's another example. We have a garage door screen that we put up in the summertime when we're training with the door open, because we don't want mosquitoes coming in, right? Well, once the season for mosquitoes goes away, now we got to store that garage door screen somewhere, because we don't keep it up all the time, because when we did have one up that we kept up all the time, it ended up getting torn. So now we take it down and we put it away. Well, that's something that we store, and we only use it during the months when we've got mosquitoes. So I don't have it out all the time. Same thing, like I already mentioned, Christmas tree. I don't use my leaf blower all year long, just for example. So there's a ton of things that need to be stored that I need every year, but I don't need every day, if that makes sense. So that's the kind of stuff I'm thinking about. Christmas lights. I said Christmas tree, but obviously I'm also talking about Christmas lights and things like that. All right. And now, Jared, you thought I forgot, but I didn't forget. We're actually running out of time, so I need to speed this up. But I told Jared I would do it. And Jared wants to talk about the shoulder boulder from Bells of Steel. So let's go ahead and talk about the shoulder boulder from Bells of Steel. So, oops, I already had it. All right. Share this screen real quick. Now, I don't have a whole lot to say about it. I will say that I noticed, if you see my man right there at the top, his thumbs are slightly lower than his pinkies. Okay, so I like that, and I do get the notion that you have tension all the way throughout the movement. But I would argue that you can get the exact same effect by just using a cable. But somebody likes it because they said that their shoulder boulder sold out in 24 hours. So as you can see, you can do chest flies with it, rear delt flies, single arm presses, single arm lateral, single arm front raises. You can do all that with it. And the pre-sale is live right now, actually. If you go to Bells of Steel, there is the pre-sale for the shoulder boulder. Yeah, all right, shoulder boulder chest fly attachment. So here it is right there. It's $274.99. If you guys do want to go check it out, make sure that you are using the link that we have, the affiliate link that we have with Bells of Steel. I'll go ahead and paste that link in the live chat now. And I appreciate all you guys. I checked out our affiliate page, and I appreciate all of you guys who are clicking that link and supporting us. So I do appreciate that. But so you go there, and there's the shoulder boulder, the chest fly attachment. Jared says, LOL at the enthusiasm. I mean, look, man, I told you before I'm not a fan of this stuff. But at the same time, I will say that it's important, and I keep on reminding myself that just because I don't like something doesn't mean that it's not worth talking about, because you guys like it. And this show is about you guys, not about me, right? That's why it's called YouTube, not Me Too. See what I did there? So anyway, if you order it now, you're going to get it by June 30th. And I would argue, although this is going to take away from any affiliate money, I mean, June 28th, there'll be a HomeGymCon, right? You could literally try it out there, make sure you like it, and then take it home with you. Think about that, right? And there's no shipping with that, because you cannot pick it up at the Indianapolis showroom. So I'm just saying, for something like this, given when it's going to ship, I'd rather just pick it up at HomeGymCon. Now, obviously, if you fly to HomeGymCon, that's not going to be an option. So yeah, maybe you want to go ahead and do the pre-order thing, but that's just something that I thought about when I looked at how long it's going to take for it to come in. So let's go ahead and make sure. So Roman Strength has been working on this exact same design for about 8 months. So as a one-man shop, it takes me longer to bring products to market. He said, mine will be better. Hey, there you go. All right. Well, I can't wait to see it. I tell you what, in fact, when you bring it to market, you come on the show and we'll figure out a way for you to do like a demo video, like a live demo of it. Okay, Rory, you come on here and you can do that, a live demo with your product. Joey said this Bells of Steel piece looks like one of the best he's seen that isn't a custom piece. And Jared says, I've got that gift card and this is a real strong contender. Yeah, Jared's got money burning a hole in his pocket. Dude, I'm telling you, your wife won that money. You better ask her what she wants. But hey, I'm just saying. Joey said, I don't think I need one of these, but every time I see one, I want one. All right. Okay. And Rory says he hopes to have a prototype of his at HomeGymCon. It will be lighter, more portable, and accept the megalith handles. Okay. All right. So, Jared, you see, I am talking about the shoulder boulder, okay? I'm talking about it. I told you I would talk about it. Like I said, man. Oh, and one more thing is, it should say it on here. It does not. It does not. All right. So, I will say that it is available whether you have a Manticore or a Hydra. And what that means is whether you have a rack that's 3x3 with 1-inch holes or 3x3 with 5/8 inch holes. So it's available for either, or it will be available for either one of those. That was in the email that I got. Yeah. All right. So you guys go ahead and drop your comments about what you think about that. Joey said, I'm considering getting the megalith handles just to use with his Mutant Metals arc attachment. I like stuff that's versatile. I like that. I like that. All right. So we are almost at the, and I'm telling you, dude, you got to keep them happy. So let's see here. Rory said the megalith handles are named that because their initial use was for lateral raises, and a megalith is essentially a boulder, which is a play on the words boulder, shoulder. Okay. All right. We are running out of time, but I do want to make sure that I hit up this last segment, which is, it's, to me, it's a little bit more important than you guys would think. And that is where we go through the comments from the previous week. The reason why that's important to me is I actually, in doing this segment, I actually found a comment that I did not know was on there. Because so it's just like a reminder to me to go check comments that have been held potentially. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to look at this week's comments from you. So these are the comments that people have put on the YouTube channel and all the videos that we've had this past week. And let's go check them out. See who says something out of pocket, who says something cool, who's had questions. Let's go now. All right. So this is a question on my video about the single stack cable tower. Fat boy Tino wanted to know if that would work for the Makolo version, or he said, should I just mount it to the wall, which I'm trying to avoid? And so I gave him the most honest answer that I could, right? I said, dude, I don't know anything about that version, right? And he said, that might be the first sign. He said, I appreciate your timely responses. I'll do more research. So I would say, and Fatboy Tino, I don't know if you're watching this show right now. If you are, thank you. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and thumbs him up, and I'll reply. I'm going to reply what I'm saying to you guys in case he's not watching the show. And that is, as a general rule, if the brand says bolt it to the wall, then my advice is to do what they say, because if something because you don't want to do anything that could potentially void the warranty. All right. I know home gym owners, as I said in my video about the single stack cable tower, a lot of us don't want to do stuff. We always figure we can work around things. But before you buy anything, look at any literature they have on their website about that product. And if it's got warnings or make sure you do this or advice about it, follow that advice, because you don't want to void your warranty. And if you get hurt, and potentially something to sue about, and they'll say, well, were you using it the way we told you? And if you say no, bam, congratulations, you just hurt and mad at the same time. So there's that. All right. My mom watches all my videos, including this one, and she says she's giving me some encouragement, says she's applauding my determination to reach my fitness goals, and I really appreciate the support that my family gives me. Rain Ray was watching Naomi's unboxing the Bells of Steel Blitz indoor cycling bike video, and she said, I admire you. I can't put things together in a way that makes me feel confident. She said she would have to find a company to set it up for her. And that's, to me, was a good reminder that when we're doing videos about any product, or we're talking about any product, you need to remember that there are people who could make use of this product who maybe are not the do-it-yourself handy person. And we don't want to, I think that too often we spend time in this community where, like, let's say a content creator points out a defect or a shortcoming with a product, and we come back with a solution. Oh, all you got to do is go to Home Depot or Lowe's and get this thing for it. I'm like, yeah, that works for me. It may work for you, What about somebody like Rain Ray, who's not comfortable with that kind of stuff? I'm not going to tell somebody in her situation, oh, just do this workaround. I'm not going to do that. Okay. Tim, my guy Tim from Gym Crafter said the gym is looking great. Well, he's watched the video about upgrading the home gym. Shout out to Coach Carp. He watched the same video. He said I can never have enough organization. Got a couple of stuff, say love it. All right. The argument or the debate that I had with No Fate, Hybrid Resistance chime. I hadn't heard from him in a minute, but he came in and said, yeah, this is a great and necessary discussion. We got Anonymous EI8WI. He said, he watched my steel shaker bottle video. Okay. He came back with, bro, constipation. So I said, well, is that why you're smiling like that? He said, well, you smell like burger. And my question then was, so seeing a man makes you hungry? And then I haven't heard from him since then. Let's go to held comments. Yay! Nobody say anything out of pocket to get that comment held. So there we go. All right. So there we go. So I'm going to make sure I do answer my man about the McColo thing, especially since he said, he appreciates my timely responses. And I do try to answer in a timely fashion. Oh, man. I wish I hadn't clicked off. All right. So somebody says, why do people hate the smell of stall mats? He said, I love it. If I could always have that nice, super rubbery smell as I enter my basement, I'd love it. I think that's, I'll go ahead and I'll show it so you guys know I'm not making this up. He said, why do people hate the smell of stall mats? I love it. If I could always have that nice, super rubbery smell as I enter my basement, I'd love it. I was like, to each his own, but, and I don't spend a lot of time sniffing a stall mat, but when I first got them, when the odor was still there, they didn't smell great to me. So, hey, whatever, man. And then my guy T-Dog says, I have a very tight space. I constantly try to improve the efficiency. One thing that's often overlooked is that you hit on his efficiency. He said he moved all his cable attachments so they're right next to his cable tower instead of 10 feet across from it. And so now he wants to use his cable tower more because the attachments are just right there. And that's on my video about upgrading the home gym with simple tweaks, right? And I mentioned to him in my comment that my response that I did a semester of interior design class. I had to have an elective, so I picked that one. It was me, a bunch of interior design majors, and some football players. So that should just tell you what the mix was. But what stuck with me about that class is how they were talking about how you want to set up every room you're setting up needs to be set up in a way that's not just functional, like it does what it's supposed to do, but also that it flows with how people use a room. So, for example, which side of a doorknob is on is part of that, right? And also where like you might hang towel hooks like right next to your shower so you can reach out, grab a towel and dry off before you get out the shower, right? As opposed to having it across the room, so now you gotta get out, walk, and the floor is wet while you go get a towel, right? It's just little things like that. Well, that principle also works in a home gym. You want to set your home gym up so that everything is right where you need it, and it just makes sense as you flow through your workout. It'll make, you don't have to believe me, but it will actually make every workout session, every training session that much more efficient and effective, and you actually enjoy it more if you just think about stuff like that when you're setting up your gym. Home Gym Physique was talking about the shoulder boulder. And he said, looks like it locks you in one groove. Much prefer equipment that allows more natural free range movement. That's how I think about it. Yeah, I'm not into that. I much prefer dumbbells or cables if I want continuous tension. Hey, we got Smart from the worship team. Yeah, man, I played the video. So Tommy is on here. He says, shout out to the folks that bought our coffee. Hey, my man, I appreciate it. You weren't on when I played the video, you guys. So let me see if I can. I'll play it since you're here. I'll play it one more time. So here you go.
Good morning. Thanks so much for choosing our doctor. What can I get started for you today?
Let me get 3 large coffees and let me get 6 creams, 6 sugars, and that's it.
And all of them?
No.
Is it 2 black and then 1?
And then 6 creams.
6 sugars.
Yeah.
Got it. Just want to check. All right. So it's 10:24 today.
All right. Thank you.
Pleasure.
You said I hit you with a sexy voice? Yeah. All right, I just ordered coffee for the guys from the church worship team as instructed. So your super chat money is about to help them get their Sunday started. All right, perfect. Thank you. All right, you too.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hey. There's Tommy right there. That's Tommy right there. You see Tommy? So there you go. All right, man. So so shout out to you, Tommy. Appreciate you guys. That song is a hit. I got people asking me if they can use it as their ringtone. Let's see here. My brother's back. Said he had to buy a couple of storage buildings, the small Tupperware ones. Okay. Rory Ellis says about the organization, said Gunnar Peterson lives and dies by this principle in this gym. I'm telling you, anytime you go into a professional gym, they're set. I worked in more than one gym when I got out of college. Actually, my last semester of college, I was working at a gym already. But they don't just throw stuff everywhere. Instead, it's set up so that you can control traffic flow and so that people enjoy being in that space. Everything from the color of the paint on the walls to where they put equipment is set up so that when you get done, let's say you're doing a leg workout, they don't have the leg machines so far away from think about how you feel after squatting, right? You really want to, especially if you're in a public gym, you got a gym bag theoretically. You ain't trying to go on this long walk to get over to the leg press if that's what's next, or the leg extension. So everything's set up in a way that just flows naturally. And that's a big deal, especially when you got the lunch rush. Let's say you come in and you're just going to do some cardio at lunchtime. You don't want to have to walk through the squat racks and the bench presses to get to the treadmill, right? Or the elliptical, whatever you're going to use. But in home gyms, we often just put stuff in there like, oh, it'll fit right there in that corner. And then you just leave it there. And I'm telling you that if you just take a weekend and just plan it out and say, look, move some stuff around, you'll find out that you've actually freed up some space. So you might be able to put some more toys in there. But then you also going to enjoy your workouts more because you're going to save time. So there you go. Rory said everything is a very specific spot for a very, very specific reason. And he said, I had the opportunity to help him move some pieces around, and everything was extremely meticulous. Dude, I'm telling you, like when I worked in the public gym, we're moving stuff around all the time. Every time we got a new piece of equipment in, and we set stuff up so that, people like to do circuit training. You would come in and you could start your circuit with a piece that's closest to the door. By the time you're ending your circuit, you're facing the door again. So you don't have anything between you and the exit. And we did that because it gets people in and out of the gym during the lunch rush. In the evening, it's not as big a deal, but it's still important because people want to stop at the gym, work out, and then they got to get home, get dinner started or whatever. So again, you need to have, when the gym is very crowded, you need to have an easy way to get people in and out of there. And if you apply that same principle in your home gym, you'll find that your home workouts are a lot more efficient. Jared said Gunnar's gym is insane. Yeah, it's pretty dope. I've seen it. I saw it when he was doing the stuff for Men's Health. Either Men's Health or Men's Fitness. All right. So, yeah. Anyway, shout out to the West Coast. It is now 12 minutes after 9 here on the East Coast, 12 minutes after 6 a.m. out there on the West Coast where you guys are. Let me go ahead and tell you guys what's coming up next week. Next week, my mobility coaches, Halinka and Colin from Flow Motion Fitness, are going to be stopping by to answer your questions and mine. Plus, Matt Roseman from CheatDayDesign.com and the Matt Roseman YouTube channel will be here to talk about home gym setups, and his website, CheatDayDesign.com, which provides recipes, tools, and resources to make healthy living simple. So make sure you guys follow at Garage Gym Life on Threads, because that's where I give you guys the latest information about what's happening on this channel. As always, thank you guys so much for checking out the show, riding with me. Some of you guys have been watching since about 6 o'clock this morning. It is now after 9. And this show would not be what it is without all of you. Shout out to the 509 people who are watching the show right now. Shout out to all of you. Thank you so much for your support. One more time, I'm just going to ask you to make sure that you not only hit the like button and subscribe to help me reach 50,000 subscribers, but make sure that you are checking out the links that we put up. Make sure you go to ion.com and make sure, and remember, you can save 20% off with code GarageGymLife at checkout. Make sure that you're visiting Bells of Steel using that affiliate link that we have so that you can support the show. And make sure you go to HomeGymCon on Beehive to subscribe to get updates on HomeGymCon, because I want to see you guys there. And last but not least, my guy Cody was good enough to come on the show. Make sure you subscribe to Backyard Shredz here on YouTube. And when you watch the first video from Cody, put a comment on his video and just say, hey, I found you. I'm here because Garage Gym Life sent me. All right. Thank you guys for being here as usual. Like I said, thank you so much. And I will see y'all next week. Peace out.